now to borrow up to $10,000.
Town Square Media has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible offers from some fantastic local businesses. Get this great deal right now.
Get 2 $25 gift cards for just $25 to Serene Custard and Mini Golf in Vineland, serving smiles since 1959 with delicious homemade ice cream and a fun 18-hole mini golf experience the whole family will love.
Get this great deal right now at seizethedeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City. A community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him into six.
Sixers.
Oh, baby.
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
The opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Well, nobody heard the opener of the show there. I was all excited. I was ramped ready to go. And then I'm sure the artist is back to the nice area. She's backing. What? There's no audio coming through. Well, that's fine. We're live. We're here on 97.3 ESPN, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Squad virtual studio. And joining me, we are at the Sea Isle Promenade deck here in Sea Isle City. My audio is glitching a little bit, so let me double check something to make sure everything is okay on my end. Getting up here, getting connected. So, Alex, just keep me apprised of the audio back in the studio, because I am hardlined in. If I need to change the cable or change the connection, I will. So just keep me updated. Alex back in the 97.3 studios. Joining me right now is the show, and I don't want to keep him too long. Part of the reason why we're up here on the Promenade deck is because of the fact of Nick from Zio Niccolo Pizza. Everyone listen to me here on 97.3 ESPN knows I've been talking about Zio Niccolo Pizza for a very, very long time, and that's where we are at today, along with the other great people here at the Promenade deck. Annie, and we got the Juice Pod, we got Big Dipper ice cream, and Nick, I appreciate you helping make this happen today, man.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, I have a little bit of a scratchy throat, lost my voice. So anyway, but glad to be here.
So tell me a little bit about, tell people about how long you've been up here on the Promenade.
Yeah, so this is the 6th season, and my friends and I have been renting here for a long time. Well, not now anymore, but that's how we got to know everyone here and been part of the community for about 20-some years. And then the opportunity came up to, I was in the corporate world, and opportunity came up to do to start a pizzeria. And here we are 6 years later. And, that's why we're here today. And we love it. We love the beach views, all the people,
right?
Everything.
So for you, obviously, making pizza is your daily life at this point. That's part of the reason why you're not feeling well. It's because you've basically been going nonstop for about 12 weeks.
Yeah, about 4 months in a row. But it's all right. I love doing it. So it's better than being in my old office. I'll trade it. I'll trade this for that.
Exactly. So tell me really quick, because the other thing, one of the reasons why you and I connected is because you're also all Phillies, Eagles, Philadelphia sports fan. So I got to know from you, Eagles training camp. That's why I'm wearing my Bird Gang Spirit shirt today. Obviously everyone's excited about training camp. How does Nick from Zio Niccolo Pizza feel about the Birds coming into the season?
I feel great about them. I've been watching some of the practices and a lot of the reporting from the training camp, and also see that Saquon Barkley and Cooper DeJean and a lot of them are working out before the offseason. I think they're going to be that good. I think defensively they have the talent to probably do it again. I think Fangio had said the other day that it's their it might be his most talented team or talented defenses he's had to work with.
Okay.
You hear that, you gotta love that. I think they can win again. And how it goes too. It was 22. They did well. 23, not so much. 24. So it's almost the opposite years. But I think they can win again. And I wouldn't be surprised if they won again. Go ahead.
I think the point you made about the defense is important because of the fact that it really comes down to, if the defense is their job, obviously they put a lot less pressure on the Eagles offense.
Yeah, and offensively, I think the new scheme they're on is going to benefit everyone. And I just like where they've gone with Mannion and, in the direction they're going. And I think it's going to be pretty exciting to watch them. I also think Barkley and Bigsby are going to be a 1-2 that they weren't before. They'll utilize, both of them a little bit more. And the offensive line is going to be more healthy too. So I think all those factors, it's going to be pretty exciting.
Josh Hennig broadcasting live from Zio Niccolo Pizza here on 97.3 ESPN, streaming live on YouTube and X. Nick, before I let you go, I know you got to get back to work. For you, obviously one of the questions people are having about the Eagles right now, at least, is the offense, right? Everyone wants to know, so what is your position on Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I think he's a winner. It's hard to, when you get to that stage, not many people can overcome, the pressure. And I think he can win again. Maybe talent-wise, he's not the best. Maybe like Joe Burrow might be a little bit more. A few other quarterbacks obviously have a little more talent. But he's got the demeanor to win, and I think that's what counts. Think about, look at Baltimore. They have Lamar Jackson. He probably got more talent than most of the quarterbacks in the league, but they come up short. A lot of other quarterbacks that supposedly have more talent come up short.
Right.
So I think he's just got the winner mentality, and he does what he has to do to win. Maybe he's not the most talented, but at some point, you can be the best at something and just never win a championship. I think that, with him, it's going to be, they have he has the mental toughness to do it again. So I think they've got a good shot. I really do. And I think they can win again. And I would even go so much to say is they will win again. They just got the talent, and the organization is built so well now. I mean, they're a top 3, and they have been for 10 years.
Right.
And all the contract signings and the way they move the cap around, the way that Howie Roseman does it, and they reload too. They've drafted really well, and everything's coming together. But that's pretty much what I think. But I think they can win again. I'm pretty certain it can happen, and it will happen. So,
well, Nick, listen, I appreciate you having us out here again. We are here at the Promenade deck here between 42nd and 43rd Streets.
Coming up here
in Seattle City. You know, Nick obviously also helps, with us sponsoring when we're broadcasting live from the Mike Seaford One Walk for Autism every year, and we do other events in Seattle. So I always appreciate your support. It's really been cool to get to know you. We literally just talk about sports now when I come up here.
And we love it. Yeah.
So let's get a pizza, and I'll be here for an hour talking about whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Anything Phillies related, Eagles, but I think we're all on the Eagles train now.
Absolutely.
We'll see what happens with the Phillies, but I think we're more excited about training camp.
Exactly. Well, listen, I do appreciate you.
Sir.
And again, people can come up here. We're hanging with Hennig, Zio Niccolo Pizza, Auntie Pretzels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. Thanks to all of them for having us out here hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City, streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. We're going to take a quick break actually right now, because we are going to reconnect the internet. We are having a little bit of a technical glitch issue. So, and I think I know the reason why. So, Alex, hit that break. We'll come back more with Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Whether you are stocking up for a summer party, a day at the beach, or that golden hour dinner at your favorite BYOB restaurant, your one-stop shopping destination, where I go for every occasion, is Boulevard Super Liquors. At the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, Boulevard Super Liquors has the best selection of craft beer, whiskey, vodka, wines, and tequila in all of South Jersey. Plus, they are minutes from Garden State Parkway, exit 25, so you can easily stop into Boulevard Super Liquors on your travels all around South Jersey. Family owned and operated for 4 generations, Boulevard Super Liquors also has the largest temperature-controlled wine room in New Jersey, offering you the best selection of wines for your next dinner date or social outing. These are just some of the reasons why Boulevard Super Liquors is my go-to. On Roosevelt Boulevard, at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, the best selection of beer and spirits in South Jersey.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-375-2577. 800-375-2577. 800-375-2577.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
In celebration of America's 250th, we the people of Matt Blatt Kia in Egg Harbor Township make this declaration. All trade-ins will be treated equal. Everyone gets up to $3,000 over KBB fair market value for your old car. Sail away in a 26 Matt Blatt Kia K4 LXS for $129 per month. 26 Matt Blatt Kia Sportage LX, just $139 per month. Revolutionary 27 Matt Blatt Kia Telluride LX, just $259 $159 per month. Qualified buyers enjoy freedom from payments for 90 days. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. At Matt Black Kia, all car buyers have the right to buy a car. Matt Black Kia wants to get you approved today.
Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, at mattblackkia.com.
Need a new car and have no idea? It's got to be a Matt Black Kia.
24-month leases, $59.99 due at signing. Call 888-506-4132 for details. Interest occurs from date of purchase on select models. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I want my picks back. I want David Putnam.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All my picks back, and I want David Putnam just because I feel like it.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, broadcasting live from the CLC Promenade deck shop between 43rd and 42nd Street, right out front of Zio Niccolo Pizza. Also, we're out here thanks to Annie Ann's Pretzels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. Alex Berardis doing yeoman's work back in the 97.3 ESPN studio. I am trying to do a couple different things. I think, okay, so I do sound better, Alex? Just you send me a thumbs up. Say it sounds a lot better. Okay, cool. So apparently, when you go to I don't want to say the name of the business because they're not a sponsor and they don't pay me to say this, but my cell phone provider upgraded me for free for a new air card. And apparently one of the functions on the air card to do these remotes here on 97.3 ESPN is it has an Ethernet cable. Well, apparently the Ethernet cable is basically an abomination to mankind. So I will never, ever, ever, ever use it again. So thank you to Alex back in the studio for helping put up with me here as we are broadcasting live on 97.3 ESPN. Again, we can watch the show. We're streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Again, thanks to everyone up here on the boardwalk. Nick from Zio Niccolo Pizza, Steve from Big Dipper Ice Cream, Annie Ann's Pretzels, and the Juice Pop. We got a lot to get to. Let's get back to the sports here on 97.3 ESPN. So the text board is open at 609-403-0973. And, you know, watching the Phillies choke again yesterday, another fatal collapse by the Phillies. My big reaction from watching that last night was this. We are at a point where if Dave Dombrowski doesn't make a legitimate move, and I don't mean the kind of move that is like, oh, well, that's a nice move. I mean a move that's going to get the fan base excited. The Phillies are going to become the biggest afterthought in the city. Because everywhere I go, and I mean everywhere I go, people are saying go Birds. People are saying, how about them Flyers? People are saying LeBron coming to the Sixers. The Phillies are in peril right now of being the team that gets forgotten. And it wasn't like that 4 years ago. 4 years ago, everyone was excited out of their gourds over the Phillies and their success. People were so excited about what the Phillies were doing. They were so ecstatic about them going to the World Series. No one expected it to happen, et cetera, et cetera. But now you turn around and you realize that the Phillies going to the World Series, it just wasn't good enough. You wanted more from this team. The next year they get Trey Turner. And then you saw what happened. They had a lead in the NLCS and they completely and utterly choked it away. Then what happened after that? Well, they tried again the year after that. They couldn't get out of the divisional round. And again, couldn't get out of the divisional round. And they lose the one to their rival Mets, the other one to the best team in baseball, who they actually played well, but because their bullpen was also an abomination, guess what happened? They lost. So now, if you're the Phillies, you're looking around, and you see that LeBron James with the Sixers, and you see that people are excited about the Flyers, and Eagles are in training camp. Everyone can't stop talking about the Eagles. We're talking about the Eagles a lot today. We have my buddy Andy McNamara, NFL analyst from the Sick Podcast. Of course, you hear them throughout the football season here on 97.3 ESPN. We still have the Ivy Rehab injury report coming up at 1:25. And we'll talk some WWE SummerSlam, which I know Alex is excited about, back in the 97.3 studios with the one and only Jonathan Coachman coming up at 2 p.m. here on 97.3 ESPN FM. But we're going to get to the Eagles more in a moment. But I want to let you guys know on the text board, if you had to rank your level of excitement about the four Philly sports teams right now, what is your order? 609-403-0973. You also could chime in on the live stream right here at Josh Hennig and on 97.3 ESPN on the X platform, as well as on YouTube at Josh Hennig. What is your ranking of your anticipation and excitement about these teams? And I feel for most people out there, the Phillies are going to be on the bottom of that list. For most people, the Phillies are going to be the team that, frankly, nobody cares about. I don't mean no one cares, but there's a level of indifference. There's a level of passive aggressiveness. There's a level of we just don't really care that much about the state of these Philadelphia Phillies. And it's really a shame because of the fact that if you're the Phillies, you used to be the talk of the town. Remember, this team was absolute garbage for about 6 years. For about 6 years, you were completely irrelevant. And then all of a sudden, you signed Rice. All of a sudden, you have a situation where if you're the Phillies, you had people excited. You went to the World Series for the first time in almost 15, 16 years, 2008 to 2022. The Sixers were floundering. The Eagles are always going to be number one on for pretty much everyone. So you never were going to beat them out. But it was to the point where when the Phillies and the Eagles played on the same night in the postseason, most people were watching the Phillies and forgot the Eagles were even on. 4 years later, Dave Dombrowski still wants to tell you it's a good club. And that's what's exasperating. So you guys let me know. What is your ranking of your excitement about the teams? 609-403-0973 is the text board. Also, the other part from last night's game that was really annoying is I'm seeing, and this is my own fault, okay? You see a lot of chatter on the internet. And I know the internet's the internet. You can't really trust it. But I'm telling you guys right now, the number of people now complaining about Don Mattingly, I think is absolutely hilarious. Don Mattingly went from the savior because you fired Rob Thompson to basically being the guy that nobody wants. And I think it's hilarious. People are complaining about his pitching decisions, his roster moves, his lineups. And I keep telling people, you're blaming the wrong person. If you're blaming the manager, then you're already wrong. The number one person at fault for all of this, okay, is Dave Dombrowski. He built the roster. You don't like who they're bringing in out of the bullpen, blame the guy who built the roster. You don't like how they're going about their business, you got to blame the guy who put this team on the field. And then number two is the players. The players are not playing up to par. I don't know how Trey Turner turned into a power hitter, but it's not helping him play better defense. And I don't know why Kyle Schwarber all of a sudden had a stomach flu or some sort of virus, but he basically can only walk at this point until he gets 100% better because he still looks nauseous at the plate. At least maybe I'm nauseous watching him right now. Bryce Harper's had some nice moments. Alec Boehm is Alec Boehm. He's nothing special. He's basically going to be the most average, mediocre third baseman in Phillies history since David Bell back in 2003. So if you look at the Phillies, there's nothing about this team that gets you excited except for the starting pitchers, Wheeler and Sanchez. The bullpen is bad. The offense has never been consistent. So no one has a reason why to get excited about this team. And I'm watching the game last night. I'm watching another lead slip away. Another time they had a big lead and they blew the lead. And all I could think of was, where's the professional pride? Where is the hey, guys, we got to be better. We got to do better. And I understand in baseball you can't press, okay? I totally get that. Been there, done that. I understand the narratives, okay? But boy, oh boy. There's a difference between pressing and just looking bad. And, Dave Gallagher, former Major League Baseball player for a decade, he was with the Phillies at one point. He was on with Mike Gill this week here on 97.3 ESPN. You can hear Dave Gallagher every week on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill here on 97.3. But Dave talked about numerous times last week, this week, and 2 weeks ago, actually. He said that when you press, you're going to get worse, which is true. But then he also said that the plate approach of these players is so bad that he doesn't know what they're thinking. So if a guy who played Major League Baseball is looking at the Phillies and saying, I don't know what they're doing, that kind of gives you an idea what's wrong with this team. Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from the CLC Promenade deck here on 97.3 ESPN between 42nd and 43rd Streets, right out in front of Zio Niccolo Pizza. We are up here thanks to Nick at Zio Niccolo Pizza, as well as Auntie, as well as the Juice Pod and Big Dipper Ice Cream. If you're looking to be in Seattle City this weekend, come on down, say hello to these great businesses up here on the Promenade. And Hanging with Hennig, as always, as well, being brought to you by Boulevard Super Liquors. They are your one-stop shop for all of your beer, whiskey, wine, vodka, and tequila needs. Right off of X25 on the Garden State Parkway. Listen, if you're coming down to CI, you can get off X25, roll in the Boulevard Super Liquors, get what you need, head on down to CI. And you know what? With SummerSlam this weekend, maybe you're not watching the Phillies because they're in embarrassment. Maybe you want to watch SummerSlam. You want to come and get a pizza from Zio Niccolo Pizza. Go get your drinks for the weekend from Boulevard Super Liquors. Maybe you want to pick up some pretzels, drink something healthy from the juice pod, maybe offset the alcohol. And that's not how it works. But we're still having a little fun up here about it. But still, Boulevard Super Liquors, they're the best. They're the ones that I go to all the time. We had so much fun last week with Bird Gang Spirits and Hollis Thomas, the former Eagles player, last week. And, of course, we will be back there for Labor Day weekend, so stay tuned for more details. But until then, stock up for whatever you need, your summer party, your beach day, your dinner, your favorite BYOB restaurant. That is Boulevard Super Liquors at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge. All right. No commercial break because we took it a little bit earlier, so we're going to switch you right over to Andy McNamara, my buddy from the Sick Podcast. Of course, you got all of his work at millions.co. He joins us right now on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Andy, welcome in. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Josh. You're making me hungry, brother. I see the pizza all there. You're talking about the booze. I'm ready to go. It's Saturday.
Well, I mean, you just put the perfect combination. It's the pizza and the drink, you know?
You can't top it. I love it. I'm telling you, one of these days, my friend, I'm going to be with you on a remote where you are, because you hit all like the best food and drink spots in that region. So I gotta figure out some excuse to get down there.
Well, the cool thing is right here on the Promenade deck, you know, because we're between 42nd and 43rd Street. So like right in the heart of Seattle City, right?
Yeah.
So if you want pizza, you got Zio Niccolo Pizza, voted the best pizza in Seattle City right behind. You know, if you're craving some pretzels or maybe a little more sweet, right? You could go over to Auntie Anne's Pretzels, or you can go to Big Dipper Ice Cream right here on the deck.
Ooh, okay.
Or if you want to be healthy and do something different, you can go to the Juice Pod, you know?
Right.
I mean, for me, I would probably have all four just because, you know, why not?
Hit the juice, have the juice bar with the pizza. And
Exactly.
you cancels it out, right?
I mean, honestly, you can go to Boulevard Super Liquors, maybe get yourself maybe like a whiskey or a vodka or something. Maybe mix that with the Juice Pod drink. I don't know. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying.
Now we're talking. I think this is great. You get the vitamins of the juice. You get the little hit you need from the whiskey. I love it. I'm thirsty and I'm hungry.
I'm doing something right there.
You're doing something right, buddy. Good stuff, man. Did you see a couple hours ago? CJ Gardner-Johnson got carted off.
I did not see that.
At Bills, yeah. Adam Schefter reports. ESPN.
I gotta tell you,
Gardner-Johnson carted to the locker room.
Can we just talk about him for a minute? You know, and you're someone who's covered the NFL like I have for a very long time. I gotta tell you, there is nothing more bizarre to me than the existence of CJ Gardner-Johnson. Like,
explain.
Like, this is a guy who, when he came out of college, we don't know, he was a very highly recruited high school athlete. Like, he was like a 3-sport athlete in high school. He goes college, and he's got some so we call it personality quirks, right? He's, he got a lot of flags on him in college. There's a reason why he had to switch from corner to safety because he was too handsy, right? And so, but he became a good safety in the NFL. And then he comes to the Eagles, and it was a huge deal. Like, we hadn't had a legit safety since Malcolm Jenkins, right?
Yeah.
So he comes to the Eagles, you go to the Super Bowl. But then they let him walk in the offseason because he's basically being cantankerous about the grand old thing. What do people always cantankerous about? Always about money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Money ruins everything when it comes to these athletes and their egos. So I'm sitting there, right? And I'm like, okay, he leaves. He goes to Detroit. Almost immediately gets injured. Like crazy, right?
Yep.
Comes back in 2024. Eagles win a Super Bowl. So literally, the 2 times in Philadelphia, he goes and wins the championship. Leaves again.
Right.
Why? Because of money. And then last year, he's beat-bopping all over the NFL. He spent time with the Texans. D'Amico Ryans didn't want him anymore. Right. He got rid of him. He goes to Baltimore, can't stick there. Ends up in Chicago, finishes the year, and now he's in what, Buffalo?
Buffalo.
Yeah.
And carted to the locker room. Lower body injury, right foot area, sounds like.
So he probably either there's something in the Achilles or the ankle related. But the point is that, like, if the dude literally just stayed in Philadelphia,
it'd be fine. And you keep winning titles.
And what else is bizarre to me is, so I suffered through his interview on the Pivot. And his explanation for Philadelphia and the fans and the players and the organization, like, he sounded like an individual that needs to go see help. Like, he needs to go see a therapist or something. And like, to see someone like that be so successful with Philadelphia, but go everywhere else and either get injured or get cut. It's just his entire professional existence is so bizarre. And what's going to be funny is, Andy, 15, 20 years from now, people like you and me are going to be getting emails from PR people for him writing a book. He's going to write a book, and he's going to do interviews, and we're going to be reminded all over again, how on earth did this guy mentally last in the NFL? Physically, we know why, because he's so physically gifted. Like, when he played for the Eagles, he led the NFL in interceptions one year. But like, mentally off the field, like, I mean, he is somewhere between a tinfoil guy and like just someone who he's got a disassociation with reality, kind of like the GM of the Browns.
Well, we know the GM of the Browns, Andrew Berry, loves them some Eagles. You hate to see when guys get in their own way, right? Guys get in their own way from success, and it costs them money, and they don't realize it till after. Like, Antonio Brown is on next level above that. But how much money that guy cost himself? You know, like, it's ridiculous. They get in their own way. They either buy their own hype, they have the wrong people around them, whatever, and you cost yourself money. You become a problem. What do NFL coaches and GMs hate? Problems. And your skill only takes you so far. They'll put up with it for a bit, but it only takes you so far. So, yeah, CJ Gardner-Johnson, we'll see. Hopefully nothing too serious for him, but I was just kind of scanning through to see if there's any extra NFL news. That seems to be the hottest thing at the moment, outside of poor Tony Romo being a little stumbly there, getting put on leave. Okay.
Oh, if you want to get to that, we can hit on that, because I said it earlier in the week. This is the best thing ever happened to CBS, because now they could exercise one of those like morality clauses, or like one of those things where, because they already put him on leave. Putting him on leave is the first step to eventually trying to avoid the contract.
Do they not want him?
Wait. What's that?
Do they not want him anymore? Like, it's too expensive?
Well, I think he is the highest, or one of the highest paid color analysts. He's getting like $20 million a year.
Yeah. God, look, give the devil his due. I like him. I know he's kind of hot. I like his analysis. He can get annoying a little bit, but overall, I do like the Romo analysis. Now they're going to get, I believe, I just said JJ Watt.
Yep.
Quick side note. Who in the audience saw the very brief JJ Watt hosted, along with his 2 Watt brothers, Tag? It was a show where you played tag, like a game show. Picture like American Gladiators, but you're playing tag against these like tag gladiators. It was
I did not see
horrible. the tagline was, no pun intended, he's like, it's time to play some tag. And then it would start. And we watched a few episodes of me and the kids, and it's like, all right, that's literally it. So I hope this color commentary is better.
It is better.
than hosting tag.
Well, like last year, he was on the team with Iron Eagle on CBS. Yeah. And like they were good. Like they were legitimately good. And there were a lot of people who felt like he was actually better than Tony Romo. You know, and so to me, I think that one, this is a great opportunity for CBS to get out of paying $20 million a year to a guy who basically has a part-time job. Right. And two, dude, if he doesn't go to jail, I will be shocked because he didn't just get pulled over for drinking and driving. Okay. He wasn't just under the influence. He had an open container in the cup holder next to him.
Yeah.
And if you watch the video, at one point they ask him, hey man, you know, where you coming from? And he's like, well, you guys just think I'm drunk because I was at a golf course. And then they're asking him to do like the sobriety tests.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, well, I'm having trouble with these tests because if I have back surgery. Like the dude.
The open container.
And don't forget, when he got arrested, he says, does that mean I didn't pass the test?
I saw that.
Like this guy, he's gonna disappear. He is gonna be off television. He's gonna go away. And I mentioned the book thing. 5 years from now, you and I will be getting emails about interviewing Tony Romo for his new book that just came out.
Yeah, and you know what? Hopefully he gets the help he needs, because if you're driving with an open container, Josh, that's the problem. That's not like, and this is not excusable either, but it's not like you're at a party and you got one too many, like, I can kind of do. You have an open container. You are either careless, think you're untouchable, or you have a serious this isn't the one you're driving in the 1950s, the one for the road type of deal, all right? Like this is like, all right, this is serious. So I hope really, truly he gets the help he needs.
Well, back in the day, really quick, back in the day, if you remember, because you and I are old enough.
Yeah.
The one for the road wasn't to be drunk. The one for the road meant when you got home, you would have it.
Right. Well, you know, it evolved. It evolved because, you know, I'm a Sinatra guy. You know, I'm a Rat Pack guy. Fan.
Yeah.
So you go way back. Now, you're right. When we were kids, that was like, yeah, take one for the road to go home. Back then, in the 50s, it was, yeah, I'll get one for the road. And you're drinking it in the car, your Romo style. You're drinking it. However, not the way things work anymore. And I wonder, I'm sure if Tony Romo's $20 million a year will give him the best legal help to keep him out of actual prison, Josh. I think that can usually help you out.
Well, let's get to the actual field. Andy McNamara from the Sick Podcast. Check out all of his work over at millions.co, at AndyMC81 on the X platform, and Andy MC Sports on Instagram. So we were having a conversation before you came on, right? About, you know, for a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. And I find this is kind of true of all of the NFC contenders. The AFC, we'll get to that in a minute. But I find it interesting that the caveat for every NFC team is actually the same. Whether it's the Eagles, the Rams, the Browns, the Bears, the Packers. So I'm going division by division. Obviously the Seahawks, you know, they won the Super Bowl. Whatever team you want to name, whoever the contender is, it all circles back to, well, the quarterback, well, the offense. Because no one's questioning the Eagles' defense or the Rams' defense. No one is questioning the toughness of the Lions, who've had 20 million injuries in the last 3 years. No one is questioning the resiliency or the intelligence of a coach. Like, for example, you know, Mike McDonald in Seattle, right? You know, no one's questioning any of that stuff. Every question with every team in the NFC is a contender, I just realized this, is coming back to the quarterback. How crazy is it that in 2026, the most quote-unquote important position in football is now also the number one position, and what's surrounding him is going to make or break the entire conference.
No doubt. And you can go a little bit deeper than that, too, with Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
We'll get to him.
Yeah.
That's a topic.
So, like, but to that point where Bucks have weapons in a weak division. You know, you're absolutely right. You run through Jalen Hurts with the new voices around him. We've talked about that before that offseason. Very excited about that. You know, New York Giants are not a contender, but Jackson Dart coming back from injury. You're right. You run through this time after time. And also, what does Sam Darnold with the Seahawks do in an encore? Now, he's told the greatest story, comeback, redemption story there is. I don't think it matters really what he does. But the Seahawks are interested in coming back for another title. What does Sam Darnold look like, and how does that affect that NFC West? Of course, the 49ers, you mentioned a million injuries. No one's more injured than the 49ers all the time.
The coach is injured.
Deebo Samuel, too.
Andy, the coach is injured.
The coach is, yeah, that's right. Shanahan's out. Come on, man. I don't know. You know what? The 49ers could actually be a bit of a dark horse. I think people are a bit exhausted with just you're always injured. I'm not interested in following your story.
Right.
That's the I'm not interested in spending energy on the 49ers until you get to December and you're healthy and you can make an actual run. Because the odd time they are healthy, they go to the Super Bowl.
Andy McNamara joining us here on 97.3 ESPN, broadcasting live, hanging with Hennig from CILC, the Promenade deck between 42nd and 43rd Streets, right in front of Zio Niccolo Pizza. Also, make sure you come out here and check out Auntie and Prezels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream, right here between 42nd and 43rd Streets on the Promenade, hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live on 97.3 ESPN FM. Andy, you mentioned Baker. We'll hit on him before we get back to the Eagles. In fantasy football, I think you got to consider him for a high pick because there's nothing bigger than the Baker Mayfield Revenge Tour. I am telling you right now, you know Baker as well as I do, right? Mm-hmm. We have both covered him very closely from college to now. This dude has treated everything in his football life like it is me against the world. When he became the number 1 overall pick, it was because he was never supposed to be at Oklahoma in the first place, right? Part of the reason why he left Texas Tech was because of some guy named Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Okay? This is the guy going with the Browns. First postseason win for the Browns in decades, and they got rid of him. And then he bounced around. He goes to Tampa. He resurrects his career. And I saw him on that podium, Andy, and he's talking about how I'm disappointed. That wasn't disappointment. That was, I am mad, and I'm going to show you that I am worth $50 million, man.
That's motivated Baker. And the thing is, we have to remember how the year ended last year. I can't necessarily blame Tampa Bay for not wanting to rush out and give him $50 million. They lost, I think, 7 of their last 10 because, again, in a near identical situation to 2021, I believe, when Baker hurt his left shoulder, same thing in Tampa. And this dude is as tough as it comes. But sometimes your toughness isn't what's good for the team or yourself, and he played through it. And it cost him again, just like it did with the Browns, which eventually led to his unfortunate exit for Deshaun Watson. And so for Tampa Bay, you get a healthy Baker, no Mike Evans, but you got Ibuka, you got McMillan, you got Godwin coming back, you got a nice group around you there. So I'm with you. And for fantasy football, I'm in one redraft league. It's one of those slow ones, so everyone has like 6 hours to take picks. The thing's been going on for over a week. It drives me nuts. I don't want to do that anymore. It's insane. I'm waiting for days to make a pick. I took Drake May as my first quarterback. I always go 2. I was able to wait like 4 rounds later and take Baker Mayfield, still available as for buy coverage, or if Baker, like we think, really pops. So now I got 2. So Baker Mayfield, I don't know if you're going to wait on a QB and really amp up elsewhere, you could do a lot worse than Baker, that's for sure.
With the Philadelphia Eagles, we all know the defense is going to be another top 5, top 10 team.
Yeah.
But for fantasy football purposes, people are preparing for their drafts right now, Andy. It's August 1st when we start turning our focus back to football, right, in terms of the calendar. For you, what is the Eagles' offensive players when it comes to fantasy? How are you treating a team that no matter how positive or negative someone is, we all can agree the reality is the Eagles have a big unknown with this new offense.
Sure. And it's an unknown. And I think if people are spooked by it, that's where you can take advantage in your fantasy football draft. I really do. I'm not scared of it at all. I'm excited about it. And I think it is presenting itself with tremendous value for Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Man, I think he is going to be an absolute steal. and you're going to be able to get Jalen Hurts probably in round 6, 7, maybe 8. You know, like it depends on your league, but people are going to be forgetting about Jalen Hurts. That's fine. Go get him. You know, and I took Baker because Hurts was gone earlier that round. Otherwise, I was going to go Jalen Hurts. So you got Jalen Hurts. Love. We know the mobility. We know he can get into the end zone. Saquon Barkley. Is there a chance this could be the year the wheels fall off? Sure, but until they don't like Christian McCaffrey, you keep riding it. He's not the first running back, but he's still an RB1 and still a first-round pick, later first-round pick. Like, it's not a bad year if you have picks like, 12-team league, 8 to 12. I bet you can get Saquon Barkley in that range, and you can be doing worse than that. And then you go wide receiver. Devonta Smith has become the number 1. So now we can say, okay, he's going to be the number 1 on the team. Does that make him a true WR1 in fantasy? I think kind of back end WR1, sure. Mekhi Lemon, dynasty, yes. Rookie season, I'm a bit hesitant on. And Dallas Goedert, again, is a steal. I picked him up as my second tight end after Tyler Warren. I like to have 2 tight ends, too, to cover off the bye. I think Dallas Goedert, injury is always a possibility, getting older. But, Josh, I think he is still going to be a favorite target of Jalen Hurts. So there is lots of options here for fantasy football with the Eagles.
It's interesting you mentioned about Goddard because this is the guy who led the Eagles in touchdowns last year. But there are people out there who say, well, they were all, short end zone, red zone, type of touchdowns,
So?
Well, well, that's what I mean. So it's like, if you're a fantasy football player, you're like, sign me up. Mm-hmm. But, maybe if you're like a real world person, you're analyzing and trying to figure out, is that still going to work out this year in an offense? It's probably going to be a little more redistribution of wealth.
Right. And it could. Again, it's an unknown, so I can't say for certain. But I still think there's always a world for a tight end in the red zone with good hands, who has a comfort with your quarterback. Now, what I like what the Eagles did, what the Kansas City Chiefs, I think, should have been doing is they got the heir apparent in drafting Eli Stowers. And I don't expect too much for him this year. Dynasty, I picked him up and I'm stashing him, putting him on my taxi squad. Wouldn't be playing him this year except for injury. But that's kind of the next guy. So maybe later in the year, Stowers maybe takes away a bit from Goddard. But that's why in your fantasy draft, you have the strategy of a second tight end and a second QB. It covers you off for bye weeks that you will find garbage tight ends if you wait and garbage quarterbacks if you wait during the season. So you get it now, and then you don't have to fully rely on Dallas Goedert if he trails off in the year. Or, heck, maybe him and Tyler Warren go off, and I'm able to put the Goddard in a flex spot. Hooray. I'd rather have a Dallas Goedert than a sixth wide receiver that I know I'm not going to use.
100% true. Let's get to the AFC before I let you go. So you spent a lot of time rambling and ranting here on with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. First of all, I do have a Browns question for you. Okay, so I'm intrigued by what's going on in Cleveland, almost like a morbid curiosity, to be honest with you. Not just because we're friends, right?
Yeah.
And I was watching some of the breakdowns of like all the throws of all the quarterbacks, right? And I keep noticing that the only quarterback who is not throwing interceptions at training camp so far is Shedeur. Mm-hmm. Apparently everyone else loves throwing interceptions at training camp, but it's not Shedeur. So can you help me and the rest of the football world understand why on earth he is not the starter and why this is the competition?
So excellent question. I do have an answer for you too through your brother station, ESPN Cleveland, Tony Grossi, who I'm friends with and is a tremendous analyst, has the quarterback tracker on the ESPN Cleveland. And they track every 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 throw in a competitive series that the quarterbacks make. Now, you mentioned no interceptions. What we have to remember is Shedeur and Deshaun are alternating playing against the first team defense and with the first team offense each day. So what you'll notice is Shedeur's numbers better with the second team. The problem is Deshaun's numbers aren't really good anywhere. And so that's where my eyebrows kind of raise. And the thing is, too, you'll see on that, if you look at that tracker, you'll see, oh, no touchdowns, no one's throwing touchdowns. What we have to remember is a lot of those, they're starting, okay, we're going to do the drill from our own 20, and they're not like continuing the series. So unless you're throwing 80-yard bombs. So it's a bit deceiving that way. But Shedeur's accuracy, I'll give you an example. So the day he was playing with the ones this week, they amped up. They were trying some new pass rush stuff with Jared Verse, and they were just getting into the backfield. Shador's holding on to the ball, and it didn't look good. But he wasn't throwing picks, which is what Deshaun Watson has been doing, which is not good in any case. So is Shador clear cut? No. But does he deserve, to me, to get the shot if it's even play, even performance or more, because of how he ended last year without a full training camp at all? Remember, Josh, he was on another field when Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel were on the other one. He never threw a ball to Jerry Jeudy, the starting wide receiver, until he was in the game in Baltimore. And what did he do? He went and won 3 out of 7 games, 2 of which were in division. That, to me, says that guy's improving. He needs to still improve, and he knows that. But to me, I'm saying, get me Shador in there, have Deshaun as the backup on last year of his contract. Let me see. If Shador turns out to be the one, yay, then I can use that extra first-round pick I got for Myles Garrett on a player. If he's not, then it's a rich draft, and you can use that to finagle up and try to get yourself your hopeful franchise QB.
My friend, before I let you go, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, because it is weekend at WWE SummerSlam. It is also Hulk Hogan Day. I know Hulk Hogan is your favorite wrestler of all time. It was basically a year ago in a couple weeks that he passed away. So I want to know from you, in honor of the Hulkster, if we could reincarnate him in his prime, and I don't mean old Hogan, whatever version of Hogan you want from like 84 to 2004.
Yeah.
And if you could put him in a match this weekend, which version of Hogan would you pick? And do you have a specific character you would put him against in SummerSlam this weekend?
Oh, what a question. Love it. First of all, I'd have to go 1987 Hulk Hogan. Okay. The one who faced Andre the Giant. That was, I love me some Hollywood Hogan. If you can't see on the full set behind, I got Hogan toys from when I was a kid and all that, and all that good stuff. Love the Hulkster. I think you got to go because that was the invincible Hogan. Hollywood Hogan was cool, but he was a heel and he would give up and he would quit and stuff like that, right? You got to go vintage Hulkster. So if I'm looking, so when I think Hulkster, I think of overcoming monsters. You know, King Kong Bundy, Andre the Giant, Big Boss Man. I would say, because I've seen him, he faced Brock Lesnar in that final run in the early 2000s when he wasn't in his prime. I would love to see him face Obafemi or Brock Lesnar, which is the Hell in a Cell. I'm just thinking monster-wise, overcoming the odds. 2 big beasts in their prime, 87 Hogan versus prime Brock or prime Obafemi. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Hell in a Cell, he's not going to be climbing to the top of the cage, so maybe it's a bit of a waste. But I think against one of those 2 big dudes, both in their proper prime, that would be fun.
See, the name I would go with, and it's because of also, I'm thinking of Hulk's style, right? He was kind of more of a deliberate. He wasn't a high flyer. He was more of like he was a showman more than right. He had the power. So I think the contrast I would like to see is against the best in the world, CM Punk, because Punk is also a deliberate, I'm going to drag this out. I'm going to get the audience involved. You're going to cheer me. You're going to hate me, right? Yeah. And I can totally see a scenario where, Punk hits him with, go to sleep. And then the Hulkster gets up.
He hulks up.
Right, and the crowd goes nuts. To me, I would love, because I feel like the pace of those 2 would be excellent.
And the build up, because they're both great promos in different ways, both very cerebral in different ways. I think that's a great call. I think that'd be a lot of fun as well. There was a throwback, and I don't know if any of the listeners remember this. And I remember watching this, Josh, the Saturday Night Main Event against the Big Boss Man. This has been all over my social this week. It was like the anniversary of it. The old blue steel cage, the only true steel cage in my mind, the blue one, the old blue steel one, where Hulk Hogan superplexed Big Boss Man when he was like 340 pounds off the top of the blue steel cage down. Josh, I remember as a kid, it's like people now doing flips and that's not as big of a deal. But back then, that was like the most high-flyingest thing I'd ever seen in my life, and it was 2 big dudes doing it, and that's a callback to that. So that's a quick Hulkster memory too. That CM Punk throwback is a nice. That's a nice. Oof. If I can't have the monster one, kind of the cerebral battle, that would be pretty cool.
He's Andy McNamara, of course, at AndyMC81, the X platform, Andy MC Sports on Instagram, host of the Sick Podcast. Andy, real quick, plug millions.co.
Yeah, man. Millions.co/Andy McNamara. Got tons of content across sports. Going to be really amping up the NFL and fantasy football stuff. I'm going to be putting a fantasy football short video out on each and every NFL team starting today with the Eagles. I'm going to pop that out, and that's going to be on millions.co/Andy McNamara. Make sure you're following me there. Tons of great content. And Josh, I know you'll be coming on with me with some NFL shows too coming up. So looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Andy, my friend, take care of yourself, okay?
All right. You too, buddy. Talk to you.
Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from Sea Isle City on the Promenade deck between 42nd and 43rd Streets. Thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, the best pizza in Sea Isle City. Auntie and Prezels, the juice pod up here on the boardwalk, as well as Big Dipper ice cream. We'll check back on the text board coming up as well, 609-403-0973. We are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. And don't forget, if you're looking for somewhere, if you want to suffer through the Phillies game or you want to watch all the games this weekend, listen, with football coming up, there's nothing better than 36 brand new 4K TVs. You can only find them at my friends at Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street, right there in the heart of Stone Harbor.
The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street is Stone Harbor's most complete entertainment experience. Great food, fun, and libations, and newly remodeled for 2026. The same great owners and all your favorite menu items remain, and now we've taken things up a notch with a brand new bar, new sound system, 36 brand new 4K TVs, and more. No matter where you sit, you always have a perfect sight line to the big game, and you've got to try our mouth-watering new menu items. Start your meal with blackened scallops, homemade fried pickles, or a cheeseburger flatbread. Try our new Chicago-style dog, or the Mary Ann sandwich, a chicken cutlet, broccoli rabe, and sharp provolone on world-famous Rando's Bakery Atlantic City bread. The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill sources only the top ingredients and serves up the best quality food. Voted best wings of Stone Harbor and the Jersey Shore by Lord of the Wings. Prime rib nights Friday and Saturdays, rib nights on Sundays, and Mike the Magician Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The newly remodeled Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street in the heart of Stone Harbor. Open 11:30 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. Go to stoneharborbarandgrill.com or call 609-961-3534 for more.
Hey guys, it's Mike Gill for Clark's Moving and Storage down in Rio Grande. Let me tell you, we did a huge move not too long ago, and honestly, Clark's did a fantastic job. I mean, really fantastic. They moved all my stuff from my Ventnor place on the shore out to the mainland in EHT. Clark's Moving and Storage, they took care of it all from start to finish. Trust their moving company with the finest in storage and moving services. They're one of the largest companies in the area, and you can trust them. Believe me, they got it all done, moved everything, not a scratch, not a dent, not anything. On time, professional. They really did it all. I felt very comfortable and very confident in their team at Clark's Moving and Storage every step of the way. So do what I did and use Clark's Moving for your big move. Call them today, 609-889-0780, or visit them at clarksmoving.net. Clark's Moving is an authorized agent for Wheaton Worldwide Moving, so they can move you across the country or even around the world.
Progressive knows it ain't easy navigating the open plains of home insurance, but there is one man who can help tame that wild herd of options. The Home Quote Explorer.
Note, Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is not a real person, but an online tool that lets you compare home insurance.
He's the type of feller who helps you decide on the right insurance, even if it ain't with him.
Again, not a person, just an online tool that helps you find great home coverage.
A real pioneer.
Okay, fine. Just do the thing. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
If your air conditioning isn't keeping you cool or you're concerned about sky-high electric bills, call Jenkins Plumbing and Heating today. Ask about a new system from American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning or a Mitsubishi ductless system. Take advantage of no-interest financing and generous rebates. Additional offers may be available through your local utility company. A new AC system can save you 25 to 35% on your energy bill. Call 609-641-6262 or visit jenkinsandsons.com.
Do not trust US Mobile just because I'm telling you. My name is Ahmed Khattak and I'm the founder of US Mobile. US Mobile invented this technology that lets you share data across any of the 3 networks. There's more coverage than any single carrier in America because we give you all 3 of them. US Mobile is Wirecutter's top cell phone plan. We're a top-rated carrier by Consumer Reports, and you cannot buy those ratings. Just Google US Mobile. Make a decision for yourself. If you're ready, visit usmobile.com.
Consumer Reports does not endorse products or services.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You blitz all night.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig here, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Again, we are broadcasting live from the Sea Isle City Promenade in between 42nd and 43rd Streets. Come on down, get some pizza from Zio Niccolo Pizza, or if you're got more of a sweet tooth, you can check out Big Dipper Ice Cream, the Juice Pod, or Auntie Ann's Pretzels. Coming up on the show still, we have the Ivy Rehab Injury Report with Dr. Josh Lamb at 1:25. The one and only, the coach, Jonathan Coachman, will join us coming up at 2 p.m. All that and more still to come here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. And we are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Also, text board coming up. We'll check in on that at 609-403-0973.
Hey, South Jersey, this is Billy Schwein. Tune into The Locker Room every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN. Each weekend in The Locker Room, you will get passionate sports talk from a fan's perspective, along with interviews with some of the biggest names in sports. That's every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon in The Locker Room with me, Billy Schwein, on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with a Schweiner.
I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only, not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code STRONG for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code STRONG for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code STRONG. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and details.
Hey, it's Mike Gill. Every day, the branch's outreach is on the move. They're recovering fresh food from local grocery stores before it goes to waste and bringing meals and essential supplies to communities all across Cape May County. They're stocking pantry shelves, supporting families, and connecting people with advocacy, case management, and resources that can change lives. Last year alone, the branch's outreach served nearly 14,000 warm meals, provided more than 6,400 pantry distributions, and helped more than 15,000 family members put food on the table. But all of that depends on one thing: getting there. That's why the Branches has launched the Road Ahead campaign to purchase a new outreach van that will help recover more food, expand outreach, and bring essential resources to even more people across Cape May County. Whether you're a year-round resident or enjoying everything Cape May County has to offer this summer, you can help keep this mission moving. Visit thebranchesoutreach.org and support the Road Ahead campaign today. Help keep the branches moving.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 2 of Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from the Promenade deck here in Sea Isle City. Hanging with Hennig, 97.3 ESPN FM. So to come, we do have the IV Rehab injury report. Plus, we'll talk more WWE SummerSlam with the coach, Jonathan Coachman, coming up here as well on the show. Again, we are broadcasting live from Sea Isle City between 42nd and 43rd Street on the Promenade. Thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, Auntie, Prezels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. Josh Hennig on location. Alex Berard is back in the 97.3 ESPN studios. We'll check in on the text board in a moment at 609-403-0973. Don't forget, Hanging with Hennig is also being brought to you by Cross County Connection with 6 new NJ Connect shuttles providing fare free transportation across southern New Jersey, connecting the jobs, colleges, healthcare, shopping, government services, and NJ Transit hubs, all at no cost to riders. For details, call 856-229-7571 or visit driveless.com. So we opened the show talking about, how are we feeling about all the teams in Philadelphia? And listen, I am ecstatic about the Eagles. I'm going to give you one of the reasons why in just a bit. But for me, I want to know from you guys, what is the ranking of how excited are you? Where do the Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers fall in the hierarchy? Because I would contend that with the way the Phillies are playing lately, and with LeBron coming to Philadelphia, the Eagles back at training camp, there's so many mitigating factors that basically make it so that, and I hate to say it this way, does anyone really care about the Phillies at this point? Text board is open at 609-403-0973. Glenn from Massachusetts is one of the people who texted in a little bit earlier in the show. We're also talking about what are the realistic expectations for the Eagles. One of the reasons why I asked Andy the question I asked him was because the NFC really is going to come down to who stays healthy, number one, but number two, whose quarterback does their job. We just talked about the fact that Baker Mayfield is playing for a contract. Don't think for 1 minute that guy is going to go into this season not trying to win every game, not trying to ball out every single game. I guarantee you Baker is going to have a monster year. He wants that big contract. He feels he has earned that contract. And you could argue, if you look around the NFL, are Jordan Love and Dak Prescott really better than Baker Mayfield? Probably not. So if those guys are not better than Baker, then why are we not giving him his due? Something to think about there. Also, Matthew Stafford won the MVP last year, but he is a year older. When does the plethora of injuries in the age catch up to him? What is Sam Darnold in year 2 with the Seattle Seahawks? Is re-signing Deebo Samuel for the 49ers enough to help Brock Purdy and the 49ers get over the hump in the postseason? Look around the NFC North alone. Jared Goff is very highly paid. But you could argue that there were games last year that he let his team down big time. Caleb Williams, what is he going to be like in year 2 with Ben Johnson? Does he take another step forward or does he fall back a little bit? Also, Let me ask you this question. When you look at the NFC North, Jordan Love, what is Jordan Love at this point? Is he a guy that just gets injured and he's a solid but not great quarterback? Or can he take the next step and elevate his game and play like a quarterback who's getting paid $50 million? Of course, there's the other team. The biggest question mark of all is what is going on in Minnesota? I'm telling you guys right now, I am extremely curious about this whole Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy battle, because on paper, Kyler Murray should easily win that job. But J.J. McCarthy knows the offense, and he was okay at times last year. So you have to wonder. For the Eagles coming into this year, they may get their offense up and running. They may have a top 10 defense or a top 5 defense. But at the end of the day, the other teams are going to have a say too. Look at Jane Daniels down in Washington. If he is healthy, what is Washington this year? If Jackson Dart can stay healthy and stop getting himself blasted when he's running for the ball, can the Giants be a worst to postseason type team? You see it every year in the NFL. There are teams that were non-playoff teams, bad teams. They rebound the next year. Could Jackson Dart and the Giants be that team? Now, of course, with the Giants reacted to John Harbaugh at his first team meeting doesn't give you a lot of confidence, but hey, you know, the players may have played in spite of him. And then you have them Cowboys. Whether you like it or not, every year, the Dallas Cowboys are in the conversation. Are the Dallas Cowboys one of the best teams in the NFL? Probably not. But I do think that the Cowboys stealing Parker away from the Eagles and making him their DC is going to help them a lot. And I still think the drafting of Caleb Downs is a huge upgrade for that defense. So if they get their defense back in line, what can the offense be? Can it be enough to make the Cowboys a contender? So every team's question to me come down to what can they be this year? And how does that relate to the Eagles? Because I have a lot of confidence the Eagles are going to be having a great year in 2026 for a plethora of reasons. I mentioned Glenn and Absika chiming in at 609-403-0973 on the text board. He says, being a lifelong resident of the area, the feeling I get from Philadelphia sports fans is that they're still pulling for the Phillies, hoping they get hot at the right time. The fact that the Eagles are considered a good team, Philadelphia fans are looking forward to seeing what the Eagles team is all about. The Flyers seem to be heading in the right direction. By the Sixers roster reconstruction, there is big-time anticipation that can't be matched in the city right now, says Glenn from Absecon on the Whitehorse RV text board at 609-403-0973. Glenn, I think you're 100% right. The anticipation for Sixers season is at an all-time high. It's probably the highest it's been, I don't want to say, what is it, 8 years, 7 years? Minimum? Like, I don't think it's talked about enough that the addition of Jaylen Brown and then LeBron James changes the entire vibes around changes the entire vibes of everything in the city. So I think you're right. You can make an argument that the Sixers, if they're not one, they're two right now. Just in terms of excitement, anticipation, what people are looking forward to. And unless you're like a real Flyers fan, you're probably not one of those people who's like hyper pumped for the orange and the black. I know for me, football has always been my number one. For someone like me, Josh Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. So the Eagles are not just number one, football is number one. So, you know, I always joke that the way my brain works is it's a season by season operation. I said to Andy, when I get to August 1st, that's when football mode is starting to be fully engaged. I'm the kind of person with baseball that says I'm paying attention, but I'm not 100% paying attention until Memorial Day weekend to Major League Baseball. For the NBA, I know the season starts in October, but I'm not fully engaged in basketball until college football season is done, which is basically the end of December. So to me, same with hockey, by the way. I watch the Flyers, but I'm not hyper engaged the rest of the league until the end of December as well. So the way I look at it is, what are the storylines that are transcending these big stories? And so for someone like me, I am extremely curious about how people are feeling about the Phillies. Now, maybe them making a trade on Monday or before Monday changes everything. I'm going to check my phone again, but I highly doubt that Dombrowski has made a move in the last 10 minutes. Let's see here. Nope. I don't see anything. So, again, literally all the pressure is on the Phillies front office to do something. Now, I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons why I'm excited about the Eagles is there was a comment made by Jalen Hurts recently at his first media availability. And to be fully transparent with everybody, we've been having some technical issues with a lot of our, some of our audio stuff at 97.3 ESPN. Here it is. So Jalen Hurts made this comment the other day. And I thought it was very interesting because it kind of gives you an idea of not just his mindset, but the team's mindset coming into this season.
Honestly, it starts from Coach Sirianni, and his message in his first words in yesterday's team meeting was about being together and being aligned. And when I was taking notes of it, I just, thought about 100% alignment and zero entitlement. And so as a team, that's what everybody's pushing. I talked to Saquon, and he's talking about just us being disciplined and us going out there and fighting for one another and executing. So,
and we bring back the A.J. Brown conversation all over again. Jalen Hurts is not talking about 100% alignment. He's not talking about things like no entitlement if A.J. Brown was still here. Not that I think A.J. Brown necessarily entitled or not aligned, but that A.J. Brown brought that vibe that at the end of the day, A.J. Brown might not have your back in the bar fight. I always go back to the analogy. The people who you can trust the most are the people who are going to have your back when your back is against the wall. If you're at the local establishment, okay, you come down to Seattle City and you have a good time and you bebop around town and you run into some people who they just don't like you. Maybe you were talking to their girlfriend or their fiance and you didn't think nothing of it, but the guy did. And he wants to throw down, who's got your back? And I don't think A.J. Brown is that guy. Because A.J. Brown got to keep the face pretty. He's got to make sure that he's taken care of. He'll make sure he has his Uber ride home before you do. You'll go to Boulevard Super Liquors on Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge to stock up for the weekend. And you'll text a guy like A.J. Brown and say, hey, man, what do you need? What do you want? But if he goes to the liquor store, he ain't doing that for you. It is not a coincidence that Jalen Hurts is saying we got 100% alignment. There is no entitlement because Jalen Hurts is overtly telling you off the hitch that this team is a team now. There's no more individualism with this team. Everyone is bought in. Everyone is aligned. Jalen Hurts made another comment again. I mean, I've heard him talk more about Sean Mannion this year than I ever heard him talk about Kevin Matullo or Brian Johnson. Actually, even Kellen Moore, to be honest. Talking about how he wants to stay in Mannion's hip pocket. He wants to learn everything he possibly can from him. He's fully engaged in what they're doing with the offense. He's excited for everybody to see what they've been working on. We had this conversation with former Eagle Alice Thomas last week here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Hollis and I talked about how when an athlete like a quarterback like Jalen Hurts is bought in and engaged the way he is, Jalen is talking up the head coach. He's talking up the coordinator. He's talking up his receivers. That's the kind of buy-in, the investment, and the alignment that is necessary for you to be a championship caliber team. Remember in 2024, when the Eagles' offensive line went into the coach's office and said, we got to run the ball more. And then the team bought in to running the ball more. It is not a coincidence when a player like Jalen Hurts speaks like that, because he does not say much of anything ever. So if Jalen Hurts is sitting there saying, oh boy, let me tell you, we got buy-in, we got alignment, we are all on the same page. That is a huge, massive green flag for me for the Philadelphia Eagles, that this is going to be an exciting year. And again, for all the people who are questioning, is Jalen Hurts going to be able to handle this offense? I always go back to, how do you know he can't handle it? Number one. And number two, I feel like a lot of people didn't watch Jalen Hurts in college and didn't see his year at Oklahoma where he finished second in the Heisman voting. A lot of that offense, while it's not West Coast offense in the most literal sense, as we're referring to when it comes to Sean Mannion and the system he's bringing to Philadelphia, what Lincoln Riley ran at Oklahoma and now at USC are the kind of offenses that demand that the quarterback be engaged and distribute the ball. The point of Lincoln Riley's offense, as well as the West Coast offense in general, is the job of the quarterback is to find the open receiver. The job of the quarterback is not to focus in on one specific receiver. So now you're not asking Jalen Hurts to get the ball to A.J. Brown or look for Dallas Goedert in the end zone or look for Devontae Smith on 3rd and long. You're not asking Jalen Hurts to just look at a couple of specific options. You're telling Jalen, look for the open man. The investment, the lack of entitlement, what he calls 100% alignment. This is why I am excited for the 2026 Philadelphia Eagles. You guys let me know how you feel. Text in at 609-403-0973. Josh Hennig hanging out with you, broadcasting live from the Promenade deck in Sea Isle City, right in front of Zio Niccolo Pizza. Of course, we are up here thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza. Nick does a great job, the best pizza in Sea Isle City, as well as you want to, take care of that sweet tooth. We got Big Dipper ice cream up here, Auntie, as well as the Juice Pod. Some great businesses here in Sea Isle City. I always tell you guys, if you care about your local community, you care about what we do here on 97.3 ESPN Radio, you want to support the people in your community, you've got to go to the local small businesses. Don't go to the big name brands. Go to the people who are in your community, who support your community. And these are the kind of people who support me when I'm broadcasting live from Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism every year. These are the kind of people that allow me to go to the charity events, to go to the different local community events. These are the people in your community that do a great job. And I ask you guys to support them because they support me right here with Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Again, we're broadcasting live from the deck shops right here on the Sea Isle City Promenade between 42nd and 43rd Street. Zio Niccolo Pizza, Annie Ann's Pretzels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream are the great businesses up here on the deck. Or if you're not in Sea Isle this weekend, but you're in the Stone Harbor area, go check out my friends, the great 36 brand new 4K TVs and the best food on the island, voted best wings by Lord of the Wings. That is my friends over at Stone Harbor Bar and Grill.
The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street is Stone Harbor's most complete entertainment experience. Great food, fun, and libations, and newly remodeled for 2026. The same great owners and all your favorite menu items remain, and now we've taken things up a notch with a brand new bar, new sound system, 36 brand new 4K TVs, and more. No matter where you sit, you always have a perfect sight line to the big game, and you've got to try our mouth-watering new menu items. Start your meal with blackened scallops, homemade fried pickles, or a cheeseburger flatbread. Try our new Chicago-style dog, or the Mary Ann sandwich, a chicken cutlet, broccoli rabe, and sharp provolone on world-famous Rando's Bakery Atlantic City bread. The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill sources only the top ingredients and serves up the best quality food. Voted best wings of Stone Harbor and the Jersey Shore by Lord of the Wings. Prime rib nights Friday and Saturdays, rib nights on Sundays, and Mike the Magician Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The newly remodeled Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street in the heart of Stone Harbor. Open 11:30 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. Go to stoneharborbarandgrill.com or call 609-961-3534 for more.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
You know what you can trust? The protection you get when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive. You know what you can't trust? Everything else, apparently. Like when you saw that article that said that thing you eat every day is a superfood and great for your gut health. But then 30 seconds later, a different article warns you to avoid it and it's taking years off your life. Well, which is it? Kind of a big difference there. Anyway, bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive for reliable coverage in a reliably unreliable world. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City. A community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, it's Brew. Between my radio show, filming content, editing videos, and trying to stay connected with family, reliable Wi-Fi isn't really optional anymore. I just need it to work. That's why I like that with Xfinity, you get the most reliable, fiber-powered Wi-Fi with the best equipment at one price for 5 years, guaranteed. No contracts or commitments. Plus, Xfinity makes getting connected simple with same-day Wi-Fi so you can get online in minutes. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Use of fiber or coaxial cable. Learn more at xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from the CLC Promenade between 42nd and 43rd Streets. Here, of course, we are up here thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, the Juice Pod, Auntie Pretzels, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. And it is now time. We'll get back to text board in just a bit at 609-403-0973. But we have the Ivy Rehab injury report with our 18 locations around South Jersey, offering South Jersey best-in-class outpatient physical therapy. And joining me right now is Dr. Josh Lamb, who, by the way, was my physical therapist. That's why we recommend Ivy Rehab here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Dr. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Josh. It's a beautiful, beautiful summer day here in South Jersey. Can't complain one bit. I'm loving every minute of it.
Well, listen, we're glad to have you back on. I'm also glad to be outside and breathing in some of this salt air. It's probably pretty much good for my mental health at this point when you think about it. We got to get some injuries. And I picked these injuries specifically because of the circumstances around them. So for those who just kind of pull the curtain back for the audience for a hot second. So every week, I send Dr. Josh or whoever comes on the topics we're going to do each week, not just so they can prepare, but because I kind of like to have a theme with all of these injury reports. And so today's injuries kind of go into what goes into not just the injury, Dr. Josh, but also what the patient-doctor relationship is. So we're going to start with Carolina Panthers rookie receiver Chris Prezels. Now, Chris Prezels, this dude was a stud in college. Okay, this guy was a big-time receiver at Tennessee. Everyone was excited to come in the NFL, but now he has suffered what they're called a moderate lateral collateral ligament tear. Now, it wasn't a full tear. He got a second opinion, so now Tomlin went from being out 8 weeks to now he's getting surgery this weekend, and he's out for the rest of the season. He had complained about knee soreness a couple days before sustaining the tear. So this is interesting, Dr. Josh, because when you have a patient change their diagnosis so drastically, right? 8 weeks to the rest of the season is a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And this comes down to really a matter of degrees of injury. So just a real quick background, the LCL, the lateral collateral ligament, is a ligament on the outside of the knee. Ligaments are connective tissue structures that connect bone to bone. So it's going to be connecting the lower leg bone to the upper leg bone, the tibia, the fibula, in this case, up to the femur, the thigh bone. And it helps prevent what we call varus stress forces. That's where the knee would bend outwards to the side, which of course we all know the knee doesn't bend that way. It bends more, forward and back. But the LCL is a very key structure in preventing the knee from bending outwards to the side. So this ligament is highly important when it comes to sport athletic events, not only from impact, but also non-impact type movements. When you're cutting side to side, when you're twisting quickly, when you're doing all of these fast movements that these athletes are doing, those structures take on a lot of load. And over time, they can, just like how your muscles can get sore, they can start breaking down, and then you need recovery in order to allow them to build back up from weightlifting in the gym. Your ligaments take on stresses too, and they can suffer breakdown. They can slowly start wearing, getting some wear and tear in them, and needing adequate recovery. One of the big challenges, though, is that connective tissue, such as ligaments, take more time to recover than muscle does. And so sometimes with these athletes, they're pushing themselves. They have to perform at a high level for week after week, year after year. And sometimes those structures start wearing out, and then they can start giving signals and signs that maybe there's some problems lurking in the near future, some of that soreness that he was reporting. So it's so important that he communicates that with his physicians, with his team, with his trainers, so that they can keep an eye on it. Unfortunately, in this case, it did develop into a partial tear. So the tearing would be something that they would first do a physical exam. They would be looking at how much extra movement is there, how much looseness is there, what we call laxity is in those structures now. And based on that, they can give an estimate to how long they think it might need to recover. However, until they get that MRI and get a very clear, formal picture of the quality of the structure and how fragile it may or may not be, it may then need the surgery. So that would be likely what happened in this case. Is it developed from some wear and tear, some soreness, eventually had a trauma where it moved wrong, it was impacted wrong, and caused a more significant tearing, a more significant injury. And then in the process of evaluating it deeper into the process, they discovered that it was compromised enough that the risk to reward ratio, that's so important to understand, is could he have gone back in 8 weeks? Yeah, he probably could have, but they determined that the risk of that was far too great, which could have led to a much more significant injury, possibly even a career-ending injury. So they decided that rather than risking that, the risk-reward ratio was in place to perform the surgery now, kind of nip it in the bud, and hopefully get him back to a high level of play and back into his career. So all that communication, all that interaction and teamwork between you and your doctor and the tests, knowing and understanding where you're at is so important to have to make a clear and informed decision on when to return to play.
You just talked about that communication. Can you focus on a little more? Because obviously there was some communication by Chris Prezels about his knee before he sustained this, what they're calling a moderate tear to the LCL. So talk about maybe if someone comes into IV rehab and they say to you, hey, my knee's hurting me. I went to the doctor. The doctor told me, whatever, but I don't feel right about it. Like, what are the kind of tests that an IV rehab physical therapist is going to do if someone walks in who, like Chris Brazil, doesn't have an injury history with a knee?
Yes, absolutely. So the hands-on tests that we're going to do, we're going to be palpating to identify the exact sensitive structure, because sometimes pain can be felt in different areas than where it's actually coming from. So digging a little deeper and identifying which part of the knee may be actually causing the pain. And then what we call selective tissue tensioning, where we have specific techniques that we can do in order to isolate and put controlled stresses through those structures to test their integrity, their sensitivity, their laxity, how well they're functioning, really. And that can help us determine what would be an appropriate time frame for then progressing the rehab back to 100%. Now, again, when it comes to these professional athletes, their job, their need is to push themselves as hard as possible. And I'm not saying that, something slipped past, but sometimes things can get pushed just a little further than maybe intended. Maybe there was a twist or an impact that just happened to get it just wrong. Sometimes there's just fluky things that happen. But communicating, reaching out to a healthcare professional, coming straight to physical therapy. We have direct access. If you hurt your knee, hurt your ankle, hurt your back, come straight to us. You don't have to go to your doctor first. And then we can let you know how much you can then push yourselves and get back to whatever activities you're doing safely. In this situation, it ended up, like I said, because they have to push themselves to such a high degree, they ended up in more of a tear, but they're going to get that surgery done. He's going to get it rehabbed, and he's going to get back to sport, and hopefully having prevented a much more serious injury.
Talking to Josh Lamb from Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy. There are 18 locations around South Jersey offering best-in-class outpatient physical therapy. I can say that because they were my physical therapist for my injuries. That's why we promote them here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. The other injury, Dr. Josh, I think is interesting is how New York Yankees, everything basically, Jazz Chisholm Jr. avoided an injury. So for those who didn't hear, he was pulled from the game on Thursday. He thought he had pulled his hamstring, but it was actually pretty intense hamstring cramping. Now, Chisholm has missed games in the past due to injuring both of his hamstrings in the past. So talk about how a patient who does have an injury history, like Jazz Chisholm Jr., can, through good communication, avoid re-injury, and why severe cramping might feel to someone like it could be a strain or a tear.
I like to say that injury has a memory. So when we get injured, the body goes through the healing process. And part of that healing process is going to be laying down scar tissue. So you strain your hamstring. The hamstring is a group of muscles in the back of your thigh. They're primarily responsible for bending your knee and extending your hip, bringing your leg back behind you. In sport, one of their main jobs is to actually decelerate the leg. When you're sprinting and you're throwing your leg out in front of you in order to make the next stride, the hamstring slows that down, brings it in, and starts pulling it back again. And so that what we call eccentric load, that lengthening contraction of the muscle, is often where the hamstring gets injured. So when the muscle is being forced into a long position very quickly and then trying to contract to slow that lengthening and then pull it back the opposite direction, almost like a spring pulling back, that's often where the hamstring does get injured. So a strained muscle, a strain in the hamstring would be a tearing of that muscle. The body's going to go in and work to heal it. It's going to lay down some scar tissue. And scar tissue, even mature and fully healed scar tissue, can have a little bit more of a hypersensitivity. There can be a little bit more of a sensitivity to stretch, to stress, to pain, where something may have been, very mildly felt, maybe felt a little bit more intensely. So that's one of the reasons I like to say that, pain has a memory. That scar tissue almost kind of remembers where that injury was and can signal when that area is being stressed again a little bit more quickly, a little bit more readily. The other part of it is to understand is that the nervous system as well, the nerves, the nerve signals of pain, they also can have a little bit of a memory. So pain is very much a an output from the brain, is what we like to say. So the body sends signal to the brain of what's going on. The brain then processes that information using many different sources, including our memory and the history of things that have happened to us, and then outputs the potential for, is this harmful? Is this a problem? And so it will then release a pain response if it suspects that perhaps that is a harmful situation. So in this situation, he was stressing the hamstring. He was putting it on significant load, and the connective tissue, the scar tissue, the muscle tissue was sending signals to the brain, and the brain was remembering some of those injuries that he had in the past and sending a signal saying, hey, wait, we don't want this to happen again. We want to stay very careful and very safe in this area. And so the pain response started to kick in. The muscle starts cramping as a guarding mechanism. And then that allows him to then communicate with his healthcare providers, his trainers, his doctors, and then they can do a physical exam to determine, okay, is this actually injured at this point? Or was it more just being stressed close to its limit? We just need to back off and give it some rest and recovery. So this is where, again, coming to your healthcare provider, whether it's your doctor, your physical therapist, again, direct access comes straight to us. If you have any injuries, just give us a call. We'll put you right in within 24 to 48 hours. And we can determine, is this pain you're experiencing a sensation of potential harm or actual harm? And if it's potential harm, we can maybe dial back on what we're doing, maybe give it some recovery, some rest, give you some education on how to recover from that situation. If it's actually injured, then guiding you through the rehabilitation process. Because sometimes when it comes to our own experience, it's hard to tell the difference between potential harm and actual harm. So that's where we can definitely do those tests and communicate and educate and help everyone get back to their activities as quickly as possible.
Hey, to focus on the communication part, kind of elaborate a little more about how can someone communicate with their medical professional better. Someone comes into IV rehab, physical therapy. I know one of the things that I had to learn was how to better communicate with you guys, to help you guys understand what I was dealing with. Because in my mind, I'm thinking it's a certain way, but you guys are looking at it differently. So kind of give a little bit of a perspective on hey, if you come in with a pre-existing injury and you have concerns, how can you best communicate that with IV rehab physical therapists?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to the pre-existing injuries, just let us know a detailed history of what happened, how it happened, and how you recovered after, and then the things you've been doing to help maintain, because that's very, very important. It's very important to maintain any injuries we've had in the past, especially more significant injuries. Keep a good mobility and stretching routine, keep strengthening. Let us know what you've been doing. And then as far as the current injury itself, one of the most important things you can communicate to your healthcare provider is the patterns to how you're responding to different activities. What makes it feel a little better? What makes it feel a little bit worse? What types of treatments have you done already? Sometimes we don't think about those things. Sometimes we just say, well, it just hurts. And then we say, well, does it hurt when you walk, when you do stairs? Does it hurt when you bend to pick something up? And sometimes if we're like, I'm not quite sure, let me think about that. If you come to us with that information, it really helps lay out all the pieces of the puzzle so that we can have a clear and thorough history of what's going on. And that can really help guide and fine tune the tests and measures that we perform in order to create a very thorough assessment and give the best plan of care possible.
And again, that's IV rehab physical therapy with over 80 locations around South Jersey. Best in class outpatient physical therapy. And I can say that because they were my physical therapists for my injuries. That's why we have them each week here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. And folks, you take anything away from the last several minutes of this conversation, it's communication is key, not just in your relationships, but your physical therapy and your rehabilitation as well. Dr. Josh Lamb, appreciate you jumping on. Great stuff today.
Absolutely, Josh. Thank you so much. Enjoy this beautiful weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, I am enjoying it because we are out here on the Seattle City Deck Promenade between 42nd and 43rd Streets. Thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, Auntie, Prezels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream, all having me out here hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live on 97.3 ESPN. And you know what? With WWE SummerSlam this weekend, maybe you want to grab some items, maybe some pretzels or some pizza or some items for to go home and watch WWE SummerSlam. Or maybe, just maybe, you want to make it an even bigger weekend with the best selection of craft beer, wine, spirits, and tequila in South Jersey. It's right off of X25 on the Garden State Parkway. That's my friends over at Boulevard Super Liquors.
Whether you are stocking up for a summer party, a day at the beach, or that golden hour dinner at your favorite BYOB restaurant, your one-stop shopping destination, where I go for every occasion, is Boulevard Super Liquors. At the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, Boulevard Super Liquors has the best selection of craft beer, whiskey, vodka, wines, and tequila in all of South Jersey. Plus, they are minutes from Garden State Parkway, exit 25, so you can easily stop into Boulevard Super Liquors on your travels all around South Jersey. Family owned and operated for 4 generations, Boulevard Super Liquors also has the largest temperature-controlled wine room in New Jersey, offering you the best selection of wines for your next dinner date or social outing. These are just some of the reasons why Boulevard Super Liquors is my go-to. On Roosevelt Boulevard, at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, the best selection of beer and spirits in South Jersey.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Bridgeton Auto Mall is celebrating America's 250th anniversary by giving back to our community in a big way. Now through July 31st, you could win your share of $25,000 in cash. Buy a new or pre-owned vehicle and you'll be entered for a chance to win $20,000. Visit our service department for maintenance or repairs. You'll be entered to win $5,000. Join us for our grand drawing event on Saturday, August 1st with live music, barbecue, family fun, and your chance to win big.
No purchase necessary. See dealer for complete details. Visit BridgetonAutomall.com.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
Fishing season's here. Get everything you need at the Bait and Tackle Shop at Utch's Marina in historic Cape May. Come to Utch's for a huge selection of spinning and conventional rods and combos for the boat or the surf, with top brands available like Penn, Tsunami, Ocean Max, Shimano, and more. Utch's Marina has all your fishing needs. Live bait, frozen bait, rods, reels, and lures too. Prepare for your next fishing experience. Come see us today at the Bait and Tackle Shop at Utch's Marina, located at the foot of the bridge in Cape May.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-746-1744. 800-746-1744. 800-746-1744. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter-churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home and auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
People will come, Ray.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
People will most definitely come.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, broadcasting live from the Seattle City Promenade between 42nd and 43rd Streets, right in front of Zio Niccolo Pizza, the best pizza in Seattle City. Also, we're here thanks to Annie's Pretzels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. Don't forget, we have the one and only, the coach, Jonathan Coachman, joining us coming up in about 13 minutes from now. We'll talk with him about WWE SummerSlam. We'll get to that as well coming up in the next hour. But we're going to circle back to some of the Eagles and Phillies conversation. Alex Berardis over the 97.3 ESPN studios doing yeoman's work. Alex, I want to circle back to you because, you know, I've been like so hyper negative at the Phillies, so hyper positive about the Eagles. Do you think I'm taking either one of those positions too far? Or do you think I'm being, you know, reasonable about this?
What's going on, Josh? I kind of think I know you're definitely being reasonable about the Phillies. I'm just going to start off with that. I am out on the Phillies. Last night might have it was just kind of the cherry on top with how just things have been going. Two blown leads, not even just one, two blown leads yesterday. Orion Kirkering comes in, throws the game away late in the game.
Right.
Get a 2-run loss there. It just the deadline's in 2 days now. I'm at the
3
point.
days, yeah.
I'm at the point where I don't even want the Phillies to go all in because you got two prospects, maybe Gage Wood, Aiden Miller. Maybe you could throw Painter in there, but I kind of think he's here to stay probably. But if you go all in and get one of these guys and you give up your two prospects, I still don't see this team working out and winning a World Series.
I'm going to play devil's advocate with you on that because one of the conversations that's been had, not just by Bryce Harper on Mookie Betts' podcast, which I learned this month that Mookie Betts has a podcast, it also the fact that other people around baseball who are analysts are saying this. There might be a lockout next year. So if you're a team, why don't you go all in this year to try to, like why the Brewers are going to probably get Tarek Skubal because they're going to empty out their farm system to get who's arguably the best pitcher in baseball. So if you're the Phillies, who cares about Painter, Wood, or Rune Escobar when you can't trade Aiden Miller because he's injured, so I'm not worried about him as much. But why not trade some of these guys if I can guarantee you're going to get an upgrade to this team at the big league level?
I think you just honestly, I've thought about the lockout because I thought the lockout was imminent the second the Dodgers won the World Series last year, and it seems that the players' union and the league are just so far apart on this whole salary cap. Is there going to be one? Is there not going to be one? I just don't even see that they're going to come to any sort of an agreement anytime soon. If Jeff Hoffman, who there's been a lot of talk about bringing him back to Philly, if he could have just done his job in Game 7 of the World Series for the Toronto Blue Jays, maybe this isn't an issue right now. But here we are.
I'm glad you brought that up because I said this to Mike Gill yesterday on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. Alex Berardis joining me back in the 97.3 ESPN studios. Josh Hennig here in Seattle City Promenade deck. If the Phillies walk out of the deadline with Jeff Hoffman and or Dalton Varsho, I quit the Phillies. Like, I am cold turkey quitting.
Very understandable.
Like, you can't tell me that acquiring those two guys is going to upgrade this team in any form or fashion, okay? Dalton Varsho is basically Garrett Stubbs, who's a slightly better hitter and a better fielder outside of being a catcher.
And he's a left-handed hitter.
That too. And like Jeff Hoffman, what do we just want reunions? Like we don't want to go out and get somebody new? And I understand there's a lot of speculation that guys like Zach Neto and Joey Dell, the Angels, are going to have a high asking price. But Todd Zalecki had this stat on the Philly Show podcast, Alex, where he said 82 of all prospects who have been traded in the last 10 years never panned out to be anything Major League level. They all had a WAR of 0.9 or worse. So literally, prospects are the biggest. I don't know. So why would I not trade Andrew Painter, for example, if I can get a legitimate upgrade for this team, knowing that there's no guarantee that Andrew Painter is long-term going to amount to be the player that you want him to be?
So then you have to be okay with 2010, 2011, 2012 all over again, pretty much, I feel like, because this team's getting pretty long in the tooth here. Everybody's kind of starting to hit the back end of their of their baseball careers here. 2023 was their shot. That was the most clear. I think we can all agree with that. 22, I'll give the 22, I'll give the pass on because we were the new kids on the block. We ran into a juggernaut Astros team. 23 was the year that it had to get done. Since then, it's just been worse outcome after worse outcome. And now everybody's a year older.
Sure.
You get rid of these prospects. Like you said, we might not even have a season next year. So now you're 2 years down the line. Maybe this offseason you just offload everybody. And not to just rebuild. Maybe we're retooling. Because guys like Zach Wheeler, I'm not saying move Wheeler, but these kind of guys, you can get a lot of value just for the names that they have that you can bring in rather than just stripping it all down and being a trash team again.
But see, that's why I got like Zach Neto interests me, because he's 25 years old. 1. Okay. 2, he's a right-handed bat. 3, he is under team control for the next 3 years. He can't even be a free agent until 2030 or 2031. So you get a guy who is pretty much better than half your team now. That's right-handed and is in his mid-20s. That's what I mean by going out and improving a team. I'm not one of these people. I've seen them online, okay? And that's why I chuck my phone sometimes. Thank God I have a case, right? Because that's a story of another day. Why I have a phone case, that's a good story for another day, but not right now. I'm not going to get distracted. Let's stay focused. You're hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. I chuck my phone because of the fact that I see these people online who all they can say is, if you don't get Scooble or you don't get Mike Trout or you don't get, I don't know, they bring up George Springer. They bring up all old people. And I'm like, this is where I'm 100% with you, Alex. Like, we got to stop adding to the AARP club. You got to actually bring in people who are going to be here and good beyond the next couple of years. And listen, Kyle Schwarber got sick, okay? I think that's what happened with him. I'm not going to act like this is the regression of Kyle Schwarber, okay? Bryce Harper is still going to have his moments. But Trey Turner obviously can't be a shortstop anymore, all right? And I don't think Alec Boehm's going to be here past this year. I think he's going to hit the free agent mark. He's going to get a big contract. Honestly, I would try to find a way to trade him if I were the Phillies, to be perfectly honest. Because if he's going to leave a free agent, you're getting nothing for him. So to me, upgrading a team is about going out and getting – now, look, a guy like Hunter Goodman I think is a pipe dream. The guy who could play catcher, first base, and right field for the Rockies, because the Rockies reportedly are only 50-50 about trading him, which means he'll go the highest bidder, and the Phillies probably wouldn't be the highest bidder. So to me, I am more focused on guys who are realistic than I am making this team old. Because if they get older, Alex, I'm telling you, I am out. I am done. I am cooked on this team. I'll throw all my Phillies gear in the drawer and not bring it out to next year.
I kind of feel like I would rather just stay still than Dave Dombrowski do another one of these Austin Hayes, like one of those kind of moves. I'd rather just stay put than get one of these mediocre mid-level guys to bring in. But you bring up Trey Turner, and I was listening to the Sports Bash yesterday, and I couldn't agree more with Mike Gill. He's saying you are a professional baseball player.
Right.
He tells his little league guys that he's coaching right now, you've never played first base before? That's fine. You're trying it out today, and we're just going to get through it. That's okay. Trey Turner, if we make a trade for a shortstop, move. It's not this grandioso type adjustment that you have to make where people are saying, oh, this is something that they can only do in the offseason. No, you've been playing baseball your entire life. The difference between shortstop and center field, okay, it's something, but you can make it through. You can get by. It's not something like you're playing cornerback and now moving to middle linebacker. It's not the same thing. You can move to the outfield, Trey Turner. And if you can't accept that, I'm sorry, you can't be on this baseball team. Because if Dave Dombrowski is going to make a move for a guy who can play shortstop, he better go do it.
The other part of it is, Alex, you just mentioned about he won't accept it. How can he accept the fact that he leads all major league shortstops in errors?
That's the thing. You're not even doing good at the position you want to be at.
Like, how do you, Trey Turner, wake up in the morning and say, I'm a $300 million player? You know what I mean? Like, I just, and maybe that's my problem. Maybe the problem is I I have a perspective. It's like someone asked me to do a job, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, right? I feel like people like Trey Turner, they don't treat the job that way. They treat the job like today was a bad day, tomorrow will be another day. I'm just not a fan of that.
I don't know. I'll say with the Eagles part because we never actually got to that.
We'll get to that next hour.
Yeah. All right. But Trey Turner, if we're moving you, you better just be okay with it. You stink in the field. You had 3 hits last night. You had a home run. I'll give it to him. But you're booting balls left and right.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. He's Alex Barardis back in the 97.3 ESPN Studios. Josh Hennig hanging out with you live in front of Zio Niccolo Pizza between 42nd and 43rd Streets on the Seattle City Promenade. We are up here thanks to the best pizza in Seattle City, Zio Niccolo Pizza, as well as Auntie and Prezels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. Coming up on the other side, we will talk with the one and only, the coach, Jonathan Coachman, joins us for a SummerSlam WWE preview. That's next here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN.
Your daily dose of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill just got bigger, better, and completely visual. Catch the Sports Bash with Mike Gill streaming live daily on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. Get the real-time takes, the best guest insiders, and join the conversation in the live chat. Don't miss a single show. Head over to YouTube right now. Search 97.3 ESPN. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and watch the Sports Bash live.
Do not trust US Mobile just because I'm telling you. My name is Ahmed Khatak and I'm the founder of US Mobile. US Mobile invented this technology that lets you share data across any of the 3 networks. There's more coverage than any single carrier in America because we give you all 3 of them. US Mobile is Wirecutters' top cell phone plan. We're a top-rated carrier by Consumer Reports, and you cannot buy those ratings. Just Google US Mobile. Make a decision for yourself. If you're ready, visit usmobile.com.
Consumer Reports does not endorse products or services.
Fresh seafood, ice-cold cocktails, and sunsets that steal the show. Welcome to Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant. Grab a table inside, kick back on the deck overlooking the bay, or catch the big game at Sliders Bar. Dive into mouth-watering seafood favorites, including Yuri's famous all-you-can-eat crabs, tropical summer drinks, daily specials, plus a kids menu, and an arcade the whole family will love. And right next door, the Boathouse Restaurant serves up steak, seafood, and unforgettable waterfront views. 2 amazing spots, 1 legendary Jersey Shore experience. Yuri's at the Boathouse at the foot of the bridge in Wildwood.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code GROW to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code GROW to borrow up to $10,000. Use code GROW to borrow up to $10,000.
Hi, this is Billy Schwein from the Locker Room on 97.3 ESPN. Looking for a fun new way to enjoy South Jersey? Stop by Andy's E-Bikes on Route 9 in Galloway, right next to historic Smithville. Andy's E-Bikes carries a full line of electric e-bikes, smooth, comfortable, and fun to ride. Whether you're cruising through the neighborhood, heading down to the shore, or just looking to get outside more, stop in, take a test drive, and see why so many people are loving e-bikes. Visit AndysEbikes.com or stop by Andy's E-Bikes on Route 9 in Galloway, next to historic Smithville.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 3 of Hanging with Hennig, broadcasting live from the Seattle City Promenade between 42nd and 43rd Streets. We are out here thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, Indian Pretzels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. We're going to get now into the big sporting event of the weekend, SummerSlam. WWE SummerSlam is this weekend. It's a 2-day event, and to join us to talk more about it is the one and only longtime WWE broadcaster and analyst. Now he is the CEO of BTT Studios. He is the one and only Jonathan Coachman, joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Coach, welcome back. How you doing today?
Hennig, my guy, I'm doing great. And this is actually the 23-year anniversary of your boy turning heel at SummerSlam 2003. So I'm pumped up. Let's go.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, that's a great place to start, because I was listening to you on the Coach and the Bro talk about how, some of these superstars, they had this ambiguity about being a heel versus being a baby face. And I want to ask you, heading into SummerSlam this weekend, is there a heel or baby face storyline that gets your juices flowing?
Man, that's a great question, because I feel like a lot of the superstars now, they don't want to be disliked. They don't understand how great it is to be a dirty down, no good, bad guy heel, because it affects their money. It really, really does. Fans don't buy the merchandise of a bad heel. So it's hard to say who is the heel. Like in CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, who's the heel in that? That's the main event for tonight. So I think what you're going to see is a lot of times where you're going to be watching at home and going, man, who are they rooting for? Why are they applauding this and not that? So to me, there's not really an answer to that question, Hennig, but I will tell you that Obafemi and Brock, that's the one I'm looking forward to tonight, because Obafemi, unless they screw it up, he's going to be the next really big star. He's got everything you could want, and working with Brock Lesnar is only going to elevate him in what I think is the hardest match in WWE or wrestling, is to make Hell in a Cell look good and look violent.
I'm glad you brought up the Obafemi part, because I think the Obafemi element is so fascinating to me, because, and I know Paul Heyman kind of did his own hype thing about it, but Heyman isn't wrong. Like, though, this guy's rise in popularity, every time he walks, everyone's doing the strut, people are chanting. Like, the amount of juice that this guy has right now, Coach, is absolutely wild.
It really, really is. But Hennig, everything you just described and I've talked about, have I said anything, or have you said anything about what this man does in the ring? And that's kind of what we talk about on my hit show, The Coach and Bro Show, that you were talking about watching. We had an episode yesterday leading into SummerSlam tonight, is that you've got to have a character. You've got to have something that when people look at you, they connect with you, that has nothing to do with what you're doing in the ring. So everything we've talked about, the walk, the music, the taking the step, shooting the crowd, and all the kids like doing it, all the little videos you see on Instagram where a little Johnny at home who's 1.5 years old is doing the strut in his living room. That's what you need to make a generational star. They don't grow on trees. The first time I was ever on WWE television, I was with The Rock. And it was when he was starting to rise, just like Obafemi. And Hennig, when I tell you, watching The Rock up close grow into the superstar that he became is nothing short of fascinating. So when I watch Oba, I have a very, very, I think, a close-knit thing to this based off of what I was able to see up close 20-some-odd years ago. They cannot screw this up. This guy is generational.
Talking with the only Jonathan Coachman here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. WWE SummerSlam is this weekend. Just to touch on the Rock point before we move on, for Brock, Brock was kind of like the guy who came along like on, and I hate to say it this way, but almost like on the coattails of what happened in the Attitude Era. Guys like Stone Cold and The Rock and all those guys elevated the product to this like crazy level, and then Lesnar comes in, and the fact that he's still doing what he's doing now in some ways is really impressive. Give me your impressions of who Brock Lesnar is in 2026.
Brock Lesnar is one of the most, if not the most, brilliant businessman in wrestling that anybody's ever seen. A lot of people, including myself, will be very critical of someone who only wants to be there 10 times a year or 15 times a year. If you only look at it from Brock Lesnar's perspective, an absolute genius, because Vince always loved big guys, Vince McMahon. So he always would cater. He'd always change the contract to whatever they wanted. He thought Brock was a can't-miss, ticket-selling superstar. So every time Brock would want to stay home, he would throw more money at him. So now what they realize is he's 48 years old. Tonight is in his hometown. I believe he is going to retire after tonight. And everything that we've heard, because Triple H can't help himself and has to give away everything behind the scenes, Brock has been very, very helpful in getting Obafemi to where he is. Brock, a lot of people don't realize, Hennig, is probably the easiest guy to work with on the roster. But he portrays it as he's very difficult to work with because that helps him on the business side of things. I love Brock. The few times he has put his hands on me, it is terrifying. But he has managed for 26 years to stay relevant every couple of years, add a few more millions to his bank account, and he's happy. That's who Brock Lesnar is.
Coach, this is Alex back here in the studio. The one main event that I feel like not a lot of people have been talking about is Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Now, they've got nearly a decade-long history going at it. As we know, Roman Reigns has actually never beat Seth Rollins in a WWE ring. Seth Rollins has always had the upper hand, but Seth Rollins has always felt like the number two to Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns has made that very, very clear in this, feud going into SummerSlam. So I want to ask from your point of it, who's got more to gain to win this match?
It's a very good question. And I would then throw it back to you and say, what are the consequences of this match? And the reason I ask you that, Alex, is because I have the privilege of doing a hit show twice a week. We're adding a third day very soon with Vince Russo. Vince Russo is the greatest writer, I don't care what anybody says, in the history of pro wrestling.
I agree
and the
with
one
that.
thing that he teaches us, what's that?
I agree with that point.
Thank you. So what he always preaches to us on the show is this. There has to be consequences, and what are you getting out of it, and is it realistic? And if it's the more realistic it is, then the more there's going to be interest. Guys, we're not talking over 25,000 tickets for both nights being sold. This thing holds almost 70,000, which tells me, Alex, that people are not interested in this. Like WWE, I think, has done a very lazy job of this storyline. They had him not even in attendance 2 Mondays ago. And when I was in the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era, you wouldn't even think about not having one of your main event guys on the show on Raw every single week leading up to SummerSlam or whatever event it is. So I don't even care about this night 2 main event because you have not given me anything, Alex, to say, man, if I root for Seth, this is going to happen. If I root for Roman, this is going to happen. And it has to be something that is pivotal because this is the second biggest show of the year. That's what SummerSlam is. So to me, I would go with Seth because Seth is way more likely to be there every single week so we can use the title in storyline. We know Roman's going to be absent again after tomorrow night. That's just how his contract goes. I don't want a part-time star, so give me Seth Rollins because I can do more with it.
Talking with the one and only Jonathan Coachman joining us here. Of course, Coaching the Bros, the pod he's talking about. That's one of the many of the BTT Studios podcasts that he works with. He's joining us here for WWE SummerSlam this weekend on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. You just mentioned something that I can't get out of my head. I got to ask you, because you've been around the business a long time, not just with the pro wrestling. And you and I have interacted at PFL events when you're working with them in the past. You've been around all kinds of sports. You have the Sports Center anchor. What is it about some of these guys today? You just said the guys back in the Attitude Era, they were at every show every night. today, getting Roman Reigns to show up is almost like a miracle, it seems like. What is such a difference between the guys then and someone like Roman, who is ridiculously popular, who just doesn't show up some nights?
To me, it's very, very simple. It is the way they do business now. And CM Punk not that long ago said, I don't care if I'm on first or if I'm on last, my paycheck doesn't change. And the one thing, Hennig, that drives me insane is almost every argument or conversation I have with a fan, it always comes back to money. Well, they're doing great because they have the billions from Netflix and ESPN and all these different places. The money does not make the greatness. And that's what they want to go back to. So now, with the talent, they're getting a flat fee. They're getting whatever you negotiated. That's what you're getting paid. When I was in the WWE, Hennig, you had pay-per-view bonuses. So if you were The Rock in Austin, you were in the main event of WrestleMania, you got $1 million bonus. SummerSlam was right around $500,000 in a bonus. So when you're telling these talent, well, you can't earn any more money or your ticket sales, they don't matter, then why would Roman Reigns even bother at this point after well over a decade? Why would he want to show up when everybody else on the roster is getting asked to take pay cuts? You're not big enough of a star. At some point, I'm not saying he's not professional. What I'm saying is there's no incentive for him to be there or anybody else. Now, if it's me and the coach is there, I'm walking in every single show. What can I do? Here's what I want to do. Here's what I'm writing. Here's what I'm thinking about. I also think, Hennig, they're very lazy. And I think they've gotten really, really soft on the scheduling, on the no-house shows. They only have to do one show a week. We were doing 4 or 5 days a week. I think it's a different business, but not for the better. I need to see hungry talent. Talent that wants to be on TV, wants to be on the main event, wants to be every single time. I don't see that now with a lot of talent, and I think it's starting to hurt them. And look at the ticket sales for tonight. You're seeing it in real time.
Coach, couple more before we let you go here. Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Again, Josh Hennig broadcasting live from the Seattle City Promenade between 42nd and 43rd Streets. Thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, Annie Ann's Pretzels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. Coach, today is Hulk Hogan Day. So I had a question I asked somebody earlier. I want to ask you as well. If you could pick I want you to put your creative hat on, Coach. Any era of Hogan. You put him in this weekend's SummerSlam in a match. Who are you matching him up with, and which era of Hogan you match him?
Wow, that's a great question, because I was actually there for WrestleMania 18. I was a part of the Rock and Hogan main event. We did a skit beforehand that's pretty world famous. So I'm a great person to ask. I would definitely do Hogan from the 80s. The Saturday night's main event, Hogan, the yellow shirt with the red writing, that Hogan, that's when it was the most positive. The crowds went bananas. It was the I am a real man. That Hogan, and who I would match him up with today would probably be somebody like, and call me crazy, somebody like Dirty Dom, somebody like a Drew McIntyre. Because I always believe that with a great baby face, the bigger the heel, the better the win is with the leg drop from Hogan. So give me 80s Hogan and give me a rotten heel like Drew McIntyre or Dirty Dom.
So the answer I gave earlier, Coach, and you can critique me on this, is that I would have gone with CM Punk this weekend, because I think both of them have the kind of pace that could really amp up the crowd and build to a crescendo. And I think having Punk basically go heel in the match, but then having Hogan win could probably make the building just pop off.
Okay, but who are they going to root for? You're putting two mega baby faces against each other. You can't have one of those then turn heel. That's what they did at WrestleMania 18. If CM Punk comes in, Hennig, as this gigantic baby face, for one match, the crowd is not going to turn on him for 22 minutes to make your storyline work. I don't think.
No, I hear you. I think it's an interesting perspective. I was just thinking of in terms of how the match, like, aesthetically would play out. I think that's how.
Sure.
But you're talking about the storyline might not add up.
To me, that's what makes when Rock and Hogan changed their roles. If people go back and watch, for 8 minutes they stood there and people thought they were trash talking. Rock was changing the roles in the match because the crowd was rooting for the guy that they didn't think would be the babyface. It was Hogan. So in this instance, you could have CM Punk for a week or two say, listen, for this one night, I'm going to disrespect Hulkamania and try to turn himself heel, but you can't do it the night of. There's got to be some reason. To me, storylines is where it begins, and storylines is where it ends when it comes to the energy of a crowd at a big event.
Coach, this is Alex once again. You mentioned, the ticket sales just not really being there this year. I was there at SummerSlam last summer, one of the best weekends of my life. I enjoyed it, the whole John Cena retirement tour, Brock Lesnar coming out at the end. You mentioned Dirty Dom had the steel cage match, but you mentioned laziness as well, like with some of the guys on the roster now, but it could also be thrown at the writing staff or maybe just how difficult it is to watch every episode on a weekly basis. You got Netflix, ESPN, Peacock for set. Like, I feel like we're at a weird spot right now in wrestling to where it's just so hard to watch on a weekly basis, and that you're not able to keep up with the product. So you're not as invested in the storyline as it once was.
And Dan, I'll tell you what, if the storylines were great, Alex, guess what you would be doing?
Tuning in.
You'd be watching every single one. Exactly. And Alex, if you don't do your job for Hennig, how many weeks or months do you think you're still going to be around if you're not doing your job? We literally talked about this yesterday. And the creative team, at least 5 of the top guys, were there when I was there. So they've been there for 25 years plus. And if you're not doing your job, that's the one part of WWE, they never get fired. They never get reprimanded. But if you're not giving me great storylines, then you're not doing your job. And to me, a lot of these talent are not, they're losing days. They're losing days in their prime because what they're given is crap. If you're Joe Hendry and you're doing that Danhausen skit the other night on the last night before SummerSlam, is that really what's going to make you buy tickets? Is human money's on a pole match? What are we talking about? I mean, this is ridiculous. And so to me, if the writing was good, the ticket sales would be there. I also think this, though, Alex. There's no wrestling big enough ever to do 2 nights. I'm tired of the 2 nights. If you had one night, you could put 50,000 people into that stadium, and it would look amazing. So stop with the greed. Stop with the we got to make every last dollar and make it look fantastic. And that is one night, 50 or 60,000. Now we're talking. We got to stop losing sight of what a really good crowd is, and that's a really good crowd, 50,000 or 60 for one night.
Coach, before I let you go, I did want to hit on the ladies real quick.
Yeah.
I want to know your perspective because, Liv Morgan, she's from New Jersey. We are here in New Jersey, so she's got a big following out here. Yeah. So I want to know from you, what is your take on her run, and what do you think makes the most sense for her coming out of this weekend? Because I'm personally conflicted. I feel like if she wins or loses, I can make an argument each way.
Sure. Once she got hurt, if anybody's watching Unreal right now on Netflix, then to me, they're not feeding into the best parts of the stories of these different talents. Liv Morgan, and again, it's almost like you're watching our show yesterday. We were talking about Liv and how we would lean into her background, her being a Hooters waitress. If Io Sky could cut promos, that's what you do when those Unreal episodes come out. You use the reality-based stuff to go after her. She has not, and there's not a lot to go after her on. She's elevated, but she has not defended this title in well over 100 days. They have forgotten about all of the women in their division, all of them. Look at what we have. Liv Morgan, Io Sky, Bella Twins against Fatal Influence. I mean, what are we doing, guys? Liv Morgan is arguably the biggest star they have. Tomorrow night, you've got a match with, I think, 5 stars in it. They have completely missed the boat on the women's division. Liv Morgan needs to lose tonight. Io Sky can run with it, have good matches, and then let's get into some really good character development for Liv Morgan into the I don't need you, Dom. Let's break up. Let's get rid of the Judgment Day. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. And also Raquel, who's in the Judgment Day with Liv, she's became the Intercontinental Champion. So you could also do something where Raquel starts being braggadocious because Liv no longer is a champion, and she is. See, I just gave you 5 storylines in about 30 seconds that you could do with her. So they need to start doing that instead of having her sit on the bench and not defend this title.
Or they just need to call you and Vince to bring you guys back in the creative. That could work too.
Well, we've thrown it out there.
He is the one and only Jonathan Coachman. The Coach and the Bro is one of his many podcasts he's got with BTT Studios. Always great stuff. And if you listen, just got to go on, subscribe to all the know. You get all the alerts. That's what I do on YouTube. That's why I can track everything. Coach, appreciate you jumping on today. Enjoy the weekend. Take care, my friend.
You guys too. Always love talking to you, man. Be good, and congrats with the show. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Always great to hear from the one and only Jonathan Coachman joining us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Always one of the most gracious people I've ever met with his time for someone who's done everything that he has done, for him to still continue to be humble and be a real man's man, a real professional with everything. He just kind of shows the quality of human being that he is. Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, broadcasting live from the Seattle City Promenade between 42nd and 43rd Street, right in front of the Zio Niccolo Pizza. Yes, we are up here in Seattle City. Everyone knows this is my favorite South Jersey Shore town for a plethora of reasons. We are back here today thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, Annie Ann's Pretzels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. As always, being brought to my friends over at Boulevard Super Liquors. We mentioned that it's WrestleMania, so you would have a WrestleMania party this weekend. You want to stock up. You got to go to the place with the best selection of craft beer, wine, spirits, tequila. Everything you need is at Boulevard Super Liquors. We were there last week with Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Had a great time with former Eagles player Hollis Thomas and much more. So, got a summer party, SummerSlam, or maybe the Phillies are making you so mad you got to drown your misery. That's Boulevard Super Liquor right over there on Roosevelt Boulevard at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge. Whether you are stocking up for a summer party, a day at the beach, or that golden hour dinner at your favorite BYOB restaurant, your one-stop shopping destination where I go for every occasion is Boulevard Super Liquors. At the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, Boulevard Super Liquors has the best selection of craft beer, whiskey, vodka, wines, and tequila in all of South Jersey. Plus, they are minutes from Garden State Parkway, exit 25, so you can easily stop into Boulevard Super Liquors on your travels all around South Jersey. Family owned and operated for 4 generations, Boulevard Super Liquors also has the largest temperature-controlled wine room in New Jersey, offering you the best selection of wines for your next dinner date or social outing. These are just some of the reasons why Boulevard Super Liquors is my go-to. On Roosevelt Boulevard, at the foot of the Ocean City 34th Street Bridge, the best selection of beer and spirits in South Jersey.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Is your trading stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop into Matt Black Nissan.
Don't freak out about your old car. Trade out. In celebration of 250 years of freedom, Matt Black Nissan and Matt Black Infinity will free you from your old car and pay you up to $4,000 over Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade value for your old car. High mileage, cosmetic issues, all trade-ins are welcome. New 26 Matt Black Nissan Altima SV, just $99 per month. New 26 Matt Black Nissan Rogue SV, just $179 per month. Plus, the all-new Infinity QX65 luxury crossover SUV is here, and you have to drive it to believe it. Bad credit? Don't sweat it. Our lenders can get almost anyone approved. Come see us today and get up to $4,000 more than your trade is worth at Matt Blatt Nissan and Matt Blatt Infinity on the Black Horse, Pike and Egg Harbor Township.
It's time to drop into Matt Black Nissan.
39 month lease on Altima, 36 month lease on Rogue, 7727 due to signing, subject to lender approval. Call 877-289-6670 for details. Next trade toward the purchase of select models. Offers still combined, expires month end.
This feeling is brought to you by Aleve for Arthritis Pain Relief. What feeling is that? Well, it's the feeling you feel when you have relief from arthritis pain. It's that my hands don't hurt just holding things feeling. That, wow, I can actually move well feeling. You know, that go about your day without worrying about every little movement or ache feeling. Oh, yeah. Because Aleve targets arthritis pain at the source of inflammation for long-lasting relief, so you can keep moving through it. Feel up to 12 hours of arthritis pain relief with one dose. Feel Aleve. Use as directed for minor arthritis pain.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City. A community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Greg A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. Hey, you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit GregAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I stood right there not too long ago, and I told the entire world, I said, call me what you want. Yeah.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
And there's nothing you can do about it, and that's not an insult. That is just a fact of life. Yeah.
Streaming live on YouTube and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget Hanging with Hennig being brought to you by Cross County Connection, presenting 6 new SJ Connect shuttles, providing fare free transportation across Southern New Jersey, connecting the jobs, colleges, healthcare, shopping, government services, and NJ Transit hubs, all at no cost to riders. For details, call 856-229-7571 or visit driveless.com. Josh Hennig back here on the CLC Promenade between 42nd and 43rd Streets. Alex Berard is back in the 97.3 ESPN studios. And Alex, I think we got a lot of interesting content there from Jonathan Coachman we got to follow up on. A couple of points I want to hit on with you. What was your perspective on what I agree with him, by the way, with the Liv Morgan thing. We don't see, when you're a champion, you got to be out there defending that belt. You can win all the time, I don't care, but you got to be out there defending the belt, right?
I mean, WWE really shot themselves in the foot here back at Night of Champions, where they had Io Sky beat Liv Morgan for Queen of the Ring. I mean, at that point, how are you going to put your champion in the Queen of the Ring tournament to begin with? There's nothing good that can come out of that.
I mean, I guess at least my take was, the angle is that they were trying to make it that she was being greedy, that she was more interested in accumulating more than being like a respectable champion. I think that's what the theory was, but the execution was sloppy. You know what I mean?
I just completely disagree, because either she wins the tournament and now we're going to have a unification, which I feel like nobody wants. Like, we don't need that. Or you have your champion look weak, and then it kind of just, you already know that Io Sky is going to pick Liv Morgan because she just beat her. So obviously she's going to pick her. So I just think it was lazy storytelling, as Coach alluded to a lot in that interview.
I love how he also, but I had to ask him about it because, he was there in the Attitude Era and then the Aggression Era. So, like, the difference in who was on the roster back then versus who's on the roster now, it does go to show you how different the world is in terms of, I mean, listen, that was my heyday. That was my wrestling heyday back then. So, for me, I just feel like, and listen, I'm looking forward to WrestleMania so this weekend. I'm going to watch every match, every one of them. Sorry, SummerSlam this weekend. Sorry. I'm going to watch every one. But, I think that Coachman brought it up and you kind of leaned into it a little bit, which is like you mentioned how, hey, no one's talking about this Rollins-Reigns match except for Rollins going on every TV show and every podcast he can. I just think it's kind of frustrating,
I think it also leads into the other point I brought up with it's just so hard to consume wrestling right now. It's so expensive. They're on so many different platforms. One of the bigger gripes I have with it is I always got a lot of my weekly episodes through TikTok with guys reacting, where they do like the split screen. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like their reaction up top and then like what was actually happening on on camera on the bottom of the screen. You know what I'm talking about, Josh?
Yep.
WWE just started banning all of the Instagram and TikTok accounts on social media that would post that for copyright purposes. Meanwhile, whenever something big happens, they're always shown on the next Monday episode of Raw in the beginning of the episode. Look at all these creators. So that's how I was consuming a lot. Because, hey, look, I'm 22. I got stuff going on. I'm either here or I'm going out like during these episodes. So I can't watch every episode. But if you're not going to allow these creators to upload their reactions with the actual shot of what's going on, I can't watch what's going on.
And it's you, and I haven't seen all of them, so maybe you can speak to more of it. But the ones I would see, it wasn't even the full picture. It would be like in the corner, or it would be like on the side of the picture.
Yeah, it's more like a split screen kind of thing. Like you're not even really seeing the whole thing.
Right. So to me, I always looked at it as like it's not like they're stealing content or like reappropriating. It's literally just a reaction. We see tons of those all the time on social media.
Yeah, and I just think they're hypocrites for when they showed all the creators and the reactions to it on their show right after.
I want to ask you the question that I asked the coach and I asked Andy earlier. So today's Hulk Hogan Day, Alex. If you were to pick any era of Hogan and put him in WrestleMania this weekend, who are you putting him against and which version of Hogan and why?
See, it is a tough one because Dom Mysterio is a great answer just because of how dirty of a heel he is. I would love to say Prime Hogan, Real American with Braun Breaker. I just feel like he would give him that's not going to work for me, brother, and not let Breaker go over. So that would have been like my go-to, just to let Braun Breaker go over. But I think if I could get like an NWO Hogan against like Cody, I feel like that could be box office.
Ooh, that's a
money-wise,
good one.
I feel like that's box office.
But also it would be great promos. You know what I mean? It would be a great build-up where Hogan could do the whole, I was you once, but I learned the truth. He could do lean into that whole thing. And then, and no offense to the guys now, but when the guys, anyone who's Cody's age or younger who brings up Dusty, it doesn't land.
It's repetitive. It hit in the beginning when they first started bringing it up. Now it feels like everybody who's held a microphone to Cody, Dusty gets. It's like, all right, we saw that. It hit the first time, not the 10th time.
Like if it was Hogan saying it, especially NWO Hogan saying it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then it's got way more weight. But like when CM Punk said it recently, I was just like, this is getting old.
Yeah, and I feel like if you needed to, you could get a little Homelander Cody thrown in there. I think Cody does his best work. Dark-haired heel Cody. That's what I'm just waiting for that to happen, honestly. But if I had to give that answer for that, NWO Hogan versus Cody Rhodes.
You mentioned about the heel Cody thing, just to hit on that. Coach mentioned about how there's too many people who are the same going against each other in some of these matches this weekend. Do we need a Cody or a Punk to flip heel to make things interesting moving forward?
But it's like I think so, but they're just too corporate now. They to me, Jey Uso does his best work when he's out there cutting these promos, going at like heel bloodline Uso penitentiary type Uso. But they make too much money on the Yeet sales. They make too much money on all that. They can't afford to have Jey Uso drop all that. Same thing with Cody Rhodes. He's one of the top 3 merch sellers. He's a great company looking guy, fits that mold. Yep. They can't afford to do the whole heel thing and lose out on all that. Old WWE, WWF, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, no doubt that's happening. Now TKO's involved. Too many stakeholders. They're making too much money off of it.
I do think the one thing that they could do that is from the Attitude Era that I would love to see now, we need an anti-hero. We need one of these guys. The women, not so much. The women, they just got to stop shortchanging them and stop being sloppy with their defenses and their storylines. That's the problem with the women. But the men need an anti-hero. They need a Stone Cold, someone who's like they're a reluctant baby face. They don't want to be a baby. Like Seth Rollins would be a great anti-hero. He would be a great.
You need a a Vince McMahon character in that storyline to rebel against. Who's that now? Triple H? Like, not really. The Rock,
No.
Tony Khan? Like, who's that guy who
Well,
steps in?
is if Aldis wins this weekend, could he maybe be that?
Maybe. Something I do like if we're gonna go into pulling stuff from that time period, I'd like to see quicker turnover with these world champions. I'm tired of seeing, because Roman, he's either gonna lose it at SummerSlam or WrestleMania. That's why I love what they did with Sami Zayn winning the WWE title, and then a few months before that, they had Drew McIntyre win on an episode of SmackDown. I love that because it also keeps me like, I have to watch, because I don't know, there could be a title drop here. But now it's once like guys like Roman and Cody have it, other than the present time, he's not dropping it unless it's at a major show.
All right, my really quick theory I'll give you before we wrap this up, and you can tell me if you like the idea. Alex Berard is back in the 97.3 ESPN Studios. Josh Hennig broadcasting live from the CLC Promenade between 42nd and 43rd Streets. Thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, Annie Ann's, Pretzels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream here on 97.3 ESPN, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. My big theory is I think Rollins wins, and they're going to have a build-up of Rollins, LA Knight, and like all of those guys versus the Bloodline at War Games. I think that's my big theory, that Reigns is going to disappear for a while like he always does. And then he's going to come back and basically, quote unquote, declare war on Rollins' latest group. Because I think they can lean into the idea that Rollins won the belt. It's good for the company. He's actually here all the time. Rollins is for the people. And then Roman come back and be like, you don't care about the people. You're selfish, and War Games it.
I love the idea. I don't believe it's going to happen, though. So, one, I love Seth. He's an injury-prone guy. We got to call a spade here. He really is. Two, I don't know if WWE will let Roman Reigns never beat Seth Rollins. But also, I go back to Paul Heyman was on the Chris Van Vliet podcast. I don't know if you listened to it.
Sometimes,
Paul Heyman said they have their story like kind of booked out 2 years in advance for WrestleMania sometimes. I don't see a world, especially with this being in Saudi Arabia, they're going to throw all the money towards it. It's either going to be Roman versus Rock or Roman versus Oba for that title at WrestleMania. I don't see a world where that's not how we get there.
Well, could Rollins win this weekend, but then Reigns get it back from him later?
So the problem with that is, great idea, but like Coach said, like you said, when are you going to get Roman coming around here again? You got it's not like he's just going to be popping in and out. Once he's gone, I feel like he's going to be gone for a while, and he's not going to be coming in for some mid-major show. That's my opinion on it, though.
Yeah. I mean, I would have to look at the calendar a little closely to see if there's another way to do it. But,
Money in the Bank?
That'd be interesting.
Survivor Series, that's the two major shows I feel like going into the new year.
I mean, Money in the Bank, maybe he wins it back there, but I don't know. It'll be an interesting weekend either way. Again, WrestleMania. Alex and I both watch wrestling. It's always a fun conversation. I see people texting on the text board at 609-403-0973 saying they would love to see the red and yellow 80s Hogan at SummerSlam this weekend. So SummerSlam this weekend would definitely have an extra juice. For those who don't know, today is Hulk Hogan Day. He passed away a year and a couple days ago. So, just kind of keep the memory of the man who basically made a lot of what we see in sports entertainment happen. Basically, he laid the groundwork for a lot of what we have today. We'll get back to the Eagles and Phillies conversation on the other side. He's Alex Berard, back in 97.3 ESPN Studios. Josh Hennig broadcasting live from Seattle City's Promenade. Thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, Annie Ann's, Pretzels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. They're all up here on the Promenade, hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN, the 2 o'clock hour of Hanging with Hennig, being brought to you by my friends over at the law offices of Craig A. Altman. Listen, it's summertime, and you know what? Accidents happen. Slip and fall at work. Car accident driving to and from the shore. If you get injured, you need to make sure you have a lawyer who knows how to handle the insurance companies. The insurance companies have a game plan. It's called delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. You need to make sure you have someone on your side. And also, you don't pay anything unless they win. They're right here in South Jersey, 856-327-8899. Get the lawyers who know you in South Jersey how to help you. 856-327-8899 for the law offices of Craig A. Altman, or get a free consultation right now at CraigAltmanLaw.com. Also, hang with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, being brought to you by the only place that has 36 brand new 4K TVs remodeled just for 2026. Brand new. It's amazing. The food is still great. They have amazing selection of beers on tap. It is my friends, my favorite spot to go watch a Phillies, Eagles game or college football. It is the Stone Harbor Bar and Grill.
The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street is Stone Harbor's most complete entertainment experience. Great food, fun, and libations, and newly remodeled for 2026. The same great owners and all your favorite menu items remain, and now we've taken things up a notch with a brand new bar, new sound system, 36 brand new 4K TVs, and more. No matter where you sit, you always have a perfect sight line to the big game, and you've got to try our mouth-watering new menu items. Start your meal with blackened scallops, homemade fried pickles, or a cheeseburger flatbread. Try our new Chicago-style dog, or the Mary Ann sandwich, a chicken cutlet, broccoli rabe, and sharp provolone on world-famous Rando's Bakery Atlantic City bread. The Stone Harbor Bar and Grill sources only the top ingredients and serves up the best quality food. Voted best wings of Stone Harbor and the Jersey Shore by Lord of the Wings. Prime rib nights Friday and Saturdays, rib nights on Sundays, and Mike the Magician Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The newly remodeled Stone Harbor Bar and Grill on 96th Street in the heart of Stone Harbor. Open 11:30 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. Go to stoneharborbarandgrill.com or call 609-961-3534 for more.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, broadcasting live from the Sea Isle City Promenade between 42nd and 43rd Streets. And we're out here, of course, thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, and Ian's Pretzels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream. Over on the text board, we'll hit that real quick before we get back to the Eagles conversation at 609-403-0973. Jeff in Summers Point chimes in, Alex. He says, Phillies are cooked birds and Sixers are winning chips this year. Rest in peace to one of the greats, Hulk Hogan. But Shawn Michaels is Myco. Fireballs and Bud Lights. We're hitting the Blues Travelers concert tonight, says Jefferson. A lot going on there in that text from Jeff in Summers Point. I can't give Shawn Michaels the go title. That's a little bit too much.
I mean, if we're talking in ring, that could be a different conversation. This guy could have a 5-star match with a broomstick. I think it's between like him and AJ Styles, I would say, are two of the best in-ring talents of all time.
I'm a big AJ Styles guy, but maybe that's my personal bias with that. But let's get it back to the Eagles, because we were talking about the Eagles a little bit earlier, Alex. So I was mentioning before that, I might be a little too positive about the Birds heading into this season. And I wanted to get your take on what we were talking about earlier.
I don't think you're too positive, but I do think there are some very good teams in the NFL this year. I look at the Rams on the NFC side. Obviously, you can't count out the 49ers or the defending champion Seattle Seahawks. But I look at the AFC side. I mean, I'm going to put it out here now. I think Bo Nix is going to take that Broncos team to win the AFC this year. I really do. I think that defense is stacked. They bring in Jalen Waddle now. Bo Nix, another year under his belt. Had a little injury at the end there, but, I mean, they have a healthy Bo Nix in that AFC Championship game. There's a shot that they're hoisting the Lombardi last year. But I do think Eagles bring in Mekhi Lemon, Sean Mannion, going to bring a whole new look. All I've been hearing coming out of training camp is it's nothing like anybody's seen before of recent from the Eagles offense. And look, one of the best quotes I've ever heard. I wish I could give the credit to it. I just can't remember at the time. But everybody's better than Jalen Hurts until it's time to beat Jalen Hurts. All this guy does is win. He's going to do it again this year. He doesn't have A.J. Brown complaining all year. He's got Mekhi Lemon, Hollywood Brown, Smitty, Eli Stowers, a guy that you, Josh Hennig, have been hyping up since before the Eagles even drafted him. I think this is going to be a great year. And especially the defense. You get your two big boys, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter signed up, Quinyon and Cooper up next. I think this is going to be a great year for the Birds.
I'm glad you mentioned about the coordinator thing in the offense, because that's the real reason why I'm excited. I know what I'm getting from the defense. Fangio is going to do his job, and they obviously upgraded some positions of need. But, and I'll take my Eli Stowers hype train off the tracks for a moment, put that on pause. To me, you mentioned about the Jalen Hurts part of it. People act like Hurts is like this, oh, he's so limited. It's like, you don't go to 2 Super Bowls in a 4-year period if you're limited, okay? Limited quarterbacks are like Trent Dilfer and Jeff Hostetler. I'm not going to act like he's the best quarterback in football, but this idea that people – there are people who will literally choose a guy like Justin Herbert who, 1, has injury issues, 2, never won a playoff game, over Jalen Hurts. I find your Bo Nix comment interesting because – they should have and could have gone to the Super Bowl last year if Nix was healthy for the AFC Championship game.
Get out of the shot.
So my question is, I am wondering, I'm just curious, are we sure Bo Nix is going to be 100% coming into this year? And can they win if he has any setbacks or letdowns?
I mean, this is something we could talk next week maybe with the Ivy Rehab report on Bo Nix's injury status. But, I mean, if he's not going to be 100%, then take what I just said, scrap that all up. But I think Bo Nix, him and Sean Payton, they seem like a dynamic duo, to be honest. And if he is healthy, that defense is good enough, and they added to the offense where I think if Bo Nix is healthy, they can do it 100%. But if he's not, then I think we got to look in a different direction. But I don't know who in the AFC, like who's other than, I mean, you could throw the Chiefs back in there. Mahomes, I've seen a lot of clips. People are, I think, over exaggerating the knee. I think he's going to be fine. I don't know if they're Super Bowl contenders though. I don't see the Patriots being where they were last year.
I don't know what to do with the Patriots. I feel like the Patriots are one of those teams that, I feel like I can make an argument for and against them. To me, the team in the AFC that probably would just stand out the most is, to me, it comes down to either Buffalo or, like you said, Denver. Denver's got the defense. Buffalo's got the megastar at quarterback. Baltimore is interesting because I don't know what Jesse Minter is going to be at all. And I don't know what, half of these guys are going to be long-term. But this year, I don't know. Do we look at a new coach and say, immediate bounce back? Like, do we give Minter the bounce back label? I don't know what you do with it. And by the way, you know what team we haven't mentioned about the AFC yet? We haven't mentioned what on earth do we do with Jacksonville? What do we do with Houston? Houston's got an elite defense. CJ Stroud, I should say. Stroud, he's regressed the last 2 years. Is he ever going to bounce back? Trevor Lawrence looks like he's ascending. And there's a speculation that Jacksonville is going to have Travis Hunter play full-time corner this year. Is that going to elevate Jacksonville's defense? I think the AFC South, those two teams are absolutely fascinating because if either one of them take that next step, the rest of the teams we talked about are in a lot of trouble.
And another team, you kind of mentioned them, the Chargers. I mean, we've been waiting year after year for Herbert to ascend into that superstar Josh Allen-esque territory. I feel like he has all the capability to do it. We're just waiting for it to happen. Harbaugh, the head coach there, O'Marion Hampton, their running back, like they have a lot of talent there. It's just, can they do it? I feel like that's the theme with the AFC this year is who's going to take that next step. Somebody's got to do it. It's just to see who is going to actually do it. I like your Jacksonville point. Trevor Lawrence is one of those Herbert guys where we've been waiting for it. I think last year, him and Liam Cohen get another year under their belt together, give him finally some stability, which Jalen Hurts has been looking for since he's been in college. Back to the Jalen Hurts thing. People, I've heard him say, he's system quarterback. He's only going there just because of the whole team around him. How can he be a system quarterback when you haven't had the same offensive coordinator 2 years in a row?
Right, yeah, that's the same system.
Exactly. Makes zero sense to me. But I think this is going to be a very intriguing year in the AFC, in the NFL as a whole.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And listen, you heard me say it with Andy McNamara. I'll say it again. If you're looking for a dark horse MVP candidate this year, Baker Mayfield. I think Baker is going to ball out because he wants to get paid. He feels listen, the last time Baker felt this disrespect, he won a Heisman Trophy. Okay, I mean, let's be realistic. That guy is the biggest I'm going to take advantage of the chip on my shoulder guy I've ever seen.
I'm such a Baker fan. I've seen a lot of people give him criticism for the comments saying, like, if you're going to wait to pay your franchise quarterback, shame on you. Hey, Baker made it loud and clear last year. He is not going into training camp this year talking contracts. And people were saying, oh, we're just giving the franchise quarterback title to anybody now. Hey, Baker Mayfield was a top 2 MVP candidate throughout the middle of the year last year. Baker has brought this team to the playoffs. He came in a hard time following Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl there. That's very hard to, follow in those footsteps. He came in, has taken them to the playoffs, not last year, but he's played very well, had some injuries last year, but all this guy does is put up yards, touchdowns, and puts his team in a position to win every single time. I don't know how to me, he's a franchise quarterback.
I think the term franchise quarterback has been completely misdefined. To me, a franchise quarterback is a quarterback that you could depend on for 16, 17 games a year. He's going to start every game. He's going to win you 10 games a year. I think the problem is that people want the franchise quarterback to be Patrick Mahomes. There's only one Patrick Mahomes, right? So unless by the way, Joe Burrow's in the same category. Unless you got
Cincinnati,
Mahomes,
that's another AFC team who we could see something.
Cincinnati's all about health, man. I mean, that team, it all comes down to health. They can be. I think the AFC is wide open. I think the NFC is just 4 teams. What do you think?
That's a fair statement. What do you think of? Is Dallas going to be one of those teams? Because I think they could be really good this year. All right.
I think Dallas will be good, but they're going to come up short like they always do, unless they unless they make a big trade. Jerry Jones keeps hinting that he needs to go all in this year, and it's like, well, Jerry, it's August 1st. When are you going to go all in? You've been saying that for 2 years now.
I actually think the Giants are going to be better than the Commanders are this year. I think the Commanders they're a trash team this year. I think the Giants not going to be the Patriots of last year, but I could see them making the playoffs. 3 playoff teams out of the NFC East.
Yeah, I think the Giants, I'm very excited to see what John Harbaugh does for the Giants. Although that first team meeting he had, I don't know if you saw the video, but the players weren't very receptive to that.
Neither was Nick Sirianni, though. His first talk to the media, his first thing in public with the Eagles did not go very well.
That's true. Alex, thanks again for everything today. Great job back in the 97.3 ESPN studio. Josh Hennig one more time from Seattle City Promenade. Thanks to Zio Niccolo Pizza, Indian Prezels, the Juice Pod, and Big Dipper Ice Cream for allowing me to come up here and hang out with you, hang with Hennig back on the road on 97.3 ESPN. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends on the YouTube channel. Thanks to Jonathan Coachman, Andy McNamara, Alex Berardis, Dr. Josh Lamb, and thanks to all of you for listening on 97.3 ESPN FM.